disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
You know, your son looks like a fag to me, totally.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Yo.
Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
Gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead. Shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it, asshole?
Don't be afraid. It's just an asshole.
What are you going to do about it, asshole? What are you going to do about it, asshole?
Welcome everybody to the BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. And before we continue, you guys know the drill. Don't forget to check us out on Spreaker and iTunes, where you can download the past podcasts. Download them to your phone, iPod, whatever. Also, don't forget to check out our Twitter page, BDA Boxing at Twitter, or hashtag, I don't know how the fuck you call it. Bucho takes care of that. Lots of entertainment. And speaking of entertainment, we are going to be providing some right now. Lots to talk about. Gotta hash some things out too as well from the past week. A very exciting last episode. But before we do that, shout out to Subhash Kunwar, Mixing Bowlman. The hell, I don't even know what you're mixing in that bowl. Pretty sure it's something dirty. Brandon White, shout out to him. Shout out to the Fight Scout, Shepherd of Sons, Box. Precise is in the chat room as well. J Division, Azzy, Jesus, Omar Jimenez, Johnny Boy, Johnny's in the chat room. Okay, Apology. Bay Area, California. They're talking about sports, I believe, so other sports other than boxing. Jason Bourne, shout out to him as well. Galero de la Info, Wags, Triple JJ, Sin Amosia, and many more to go. Official boxing scorecards in there as well. So shout out to all everybody that's going to be coming in. Nicola Ferrari as well, Magic Man, Shelton Film Productions. Thanks a lot for being on, guys. I also want to give a shout out, Bucho. We got to give a shout out to, because I was watching reading the comments on the last two episodes, and I gotta give a shout out to everybody that puts in some timestamps. I know we used to do that for a while, or you were the one that was doing it for a while, putting in the timestamps of every change of subject in the podcast, but it just gets a little bit too tedious. It's time consuming, and we haven't been able to do it. So it's shout out, thanks to everybody that has been doing it and has been putting in timestamps for all the funny moments or interesting moments that happen during the podcast. All right. So we're going to take care of some business here. But before we do that, there's also a couple of news going on in the world of boxing. Bucho, I wanted to bring this up to your attention. I don't know if you saw this, but according to the boxing scene, the Zone, which is a little bit like the UFC, they don't release their numbers, pay-per-view and such. They have revealed that more than 1.2 million people watched the Alvarez-Jacobs fight on Saturday, but that is not in one area only. They're saying that's throughout all their markets, which count the United States, Austria, Canada, Germany, Italy, Japan, and so on and so forth. What do you think about that? Good numbers for a platform that
How
just
many?
started? 1.2 million.
I guess that's okay. They're in
How
a
do
lot
we-
of countries. I'm talking about the zone, so I don't know.
I don't even know
Not
what
sure.
they I don't even know if that's a good result or not. But I tell you what, the actual fight itself was good. I wasn't lagging. It wasn't stuttering or anything. So we'll see if we'll keep an eye on the Zone. See if it starts continue to pick up more viewers. Like you said, you were watching the Champions League match earlier today, right? And you were mentioning how here in Canada they took away the rights from TSN. So if you go to a bar, I don't know how that works. I don't know how a bar, because normally a bar has to pay for the rights to show a certain channel or a certain match, program, whatever. So I don't know how that works with the Zone. I don't think I haven't been to a bar lately to watch any fights or sporting events. So I don't know if they have the Zone or not.
Apparently, in Canada, they don't yet. They have to figure it out. I don't know how it works exactly, but I read an article where basically they have to pay the zone, or I don't know. Anyways, you know how it works with, like, it's sort of like with pay-per-views. You gotta pay them in order to be able to show it in a bar or a
Right.
restaurant. So,
By the way,
yeah. By the way, I was gonna say, like, the Shepherd of Sons is saying, and somebody else also mentioned. I think Brandon White said that the pay-per-view, the event did over 600,000 in the U.S.
I'd like to know where they got that number from and who revealed it, and because I don't know if that's. I mean, 600,000. I suppose that's good. I mean, if they would have done that in pay-per-view for a fight of that magnitude, it's the best middleweight in the world taking on at worst the number 3 middleweight in the world, and 600,000. I don't know. It's not.
Now, on pay-per-view, you wouldn't have done 600,000. You would have
much?
done maybe 300, 250. No, wait,
Yeah.
400 maybe, because it's Canelo and it was a good fight, but not more than that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you gotta wonder how many people would be paying to watch the NFL Champions League, whatever, if it's on a paid service, and that's what it is now. It's on the Zone. You gotta pay to watch it. So, anyway, I didn't want to get into that whole subject because we can go all night speculating about that. Also, apparently, Usyk has suffered an injury. That's what people were saying in the Hangout chat room as well. That fight's postponed, or I don't know if canceled or postponed, but it's certainly not happening on the original date. So that's that. Also, well, we're gonna talk also about the fights from this weekend. The fights are gonna be coming up this weekend. There's a lot to talk about there too. There's Triple G saying he wasn't impressed with Canelo this past Saturday. Julian Williams taking on, what's his name again? Jared Hurd. De La Hoya mentioning some things about moving up. He wants Spence to move up and fight Canelo. But of course, Spence it's been announced that they're probably going to be making Porter Spence off pay-per-view, which means it's going to be probably on Fox. What do you think about that, Butcher? That's good news.
Yeah, that's good news.
I mean, listen, a fight, as long as it's on pay-per-view and we don't have to pay for that shit, because it might end up being a boring fight. Maybe Porter comes in and starts trying to make it a punching clutch affair. I want to see more punching, less clutching. What do you think about that?
Yeah, just put it on Fox as well. I mean, yeah, that fight might be boring, whatever, but it's a good fight. Put it on Fox, because let's be honest, man. Showtime. Did I show you the Showtime schedule that they have so far?
You have it on.
I posted it on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I made two tweets, two images. One showed the fights that Showtime has shown so far in 2019. Then I made another one which shows what's coming up next. And I'm opening this shit. It's taking a while, but I'm gonna show you the fights that Showtime had this year, that they put on this year. And because I remember in some other boxing channels, they were talking about how there was a feud between, oh, what's better, the Zone or Showtime? And well, Showtime, you're basically paying $15 extra on top of your cable subscription, while on the Zone you're paying $10, but on the Zone you don't get as much content as Showtime, and on Showtime you have fucking Ray Donovan and all that shit. Nobody watches that shit. Let's be honest. Nobody watches Ray Donovan.
Nobody's watching
So, anyways,
Shameless.
but sticking with boxing though, this is what Showtime has provided in 2019. Tank Davis versus Ruiz, February 9th. Lara versus Castano, March 2nd. Shields versus Hammer, April 13th. So three events. Those are the three main events. And then Robert Easter Jr. versus Bartholomew, April 27th. That's what you've been paying for, man, since from January to fucking April. That's what you got on Showtime Boxing. Which is supposed to be better than the Zone. I guess people are mixing up what's, the PBC, they're all over the place, right? But this is what you're getting on Showtime. 4 fucking shitty fights, all right? And I have a list of what you've been getting on the Zone, man. It's pretty fucking long, man. I can send it to you.
Well, can't you just give us a gestalt of it? Give us a gist of it.
I'm stalling because I'm trying to look for it. Oh yeah,
Well,
I have it here. I have it here.
Okay.
No, I have it here. Well, I can count
go
the
ahead.
1, 2. Okay. I won't even mention the fucking dates, man. Demetrius Andrade against Arthur Akabov. You had Jamie Munguia against Takeshi Inoue. You had Alberto Machado versus Sandro Cancillo. You had Brandon Rios versus Humberto Soto. You had Daniel Scardina versus Henry Kelly. I don't know, some shitty fight. But
Great fight.
but hold on. But hey, look at all the. It's a lot of fights though, and then you get like Dimitri Bivol, come on, versus Joe Smith Jr. Yeah, you also got Tevin Farmer versus John O'Carroll. You got Mercito Gesta versus Antonio Rodriguez. Tevin Farmer versus John O'Carroll. Oh, you didn't mention that. Sorry.
Okay, I get the gist.
Seriously, man, you and me, we're fucking done professionally.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Right, see, some of these fights sucks, but look at all what you're getting. Charlie Edwards versus Angel Moreno, whatever. Leah Smith, Sam Eglinton, I don't give a shit. Jaime Munguia again, Dennis Hogan. And then you get Chisora against Gashi. And then you got Rung Visai versus Juan Francisco Estrada, a great fight.
Yeah.
Then another shady card. And then you get Regis Progress against Relic.
So you're saying the volume. The volume is what obviously is underside.
And Canelo Álvarez, Danny Jacobs.
Yeah, which could have easily been, should have been pay-per-view. If it would have been on Showtime or HBO, that would have been a pay-per-view, no doubt about it. You would have to shell $80, maybe more if you want it on HD, because, these people will gouge you. You would have paid to see that just to get that one fight, on top of paying your cable bill along with the premium channels. So don't tell me the Zone's not a good deal. Come on. Look at all the
okay, of course there's some fights that were fucking crap that I just mentioned, but there's some of them that were good and you got a lot of them. On the other hand, on Showtime you had 4 crappy fights. 4 crappy cards, man. And what I mentioned was the main events.
Now it's interesting. It's interesting. You mentioned all that boxing on top of all the other sports they have. And like you mentioned, with Showtime you get, all right, some people in the chat room are saying Ray Donovan's good. All right, let's say you got Ray Donovan. What else do you have? What else you got? Shameless? Wheat? Do they still show that show? Wheat? I don't know. But see, I don't even know what they show on Showtime. I don't watch TV anymore.
Watching, yeah. I stopped watching Ray Donovan like
the only reason why I need TV is for the sports. That being boxing and MMA. And maybe a little bit of football, aka soccer here and there. I don't need to watch fucking Shameless and The Walking Dead and what are the other shows that Orange is the New Black? I don't know. That's on Netflix, I think. Anyway. Don't need that shit. Precise is seen Twin Peaks. You can tell this guy's stuck in 1992. Oh, no, wait a minute. They did a new one, right? They did a new Twin Peaks, I think. But anyway, Precise, that show's for hipsters, man. Come on. Fucking David Lynch. All right. So, yeah, another thing I wanted to mention right now. ESPN, there was Beterbiev versus Kalashnik. I hope I'm saying that right. Official boxing scorecard is going to correct me if I'm not. It did apparently around 480,000 viewers. For ESPN. So ESPN, they're trying to get off of track. This Saturday, they're going to be showing the rematch between Berchelt and Ray Vargas. Now, whether you think Vargas is done or not, whether you think he's shot, as long as this fight goes, it's going to be a good fight, I think. Unless Berchelt throws us a fucking curveball and decides to box again, like the way he did against. I can't believe I'm forgetting that name, but the Japanese guy that Vargas beat. How come I'm forgetting that? I'm at this stage of the day, guys. Sorry, where I forget the name. So
I mean, I don't blame you. So to me, I've always mixed up all these Japanese fucking names, man.
that's right. All right, listen, Butcher, did you send Stu the invite?
Nope.
Go ahead and do that, man. Let's start sending in the invites because again, I don't want to spend too much time here babbling. Let's get some people in here, make this interesting. Also, while Butcher's taking care of that, people are having a bit of a discussion on message boards around the internet. They're talking about whether Canelo should be number 1 pound for pound. And some people are saying, well, he beat Triple G, who was the number 1 pound for pound, so he should be under. I'm going to be covering this more when I do an episode of BDA Surfs the Internet. I'm going to start surfing the internet live and just showing you some of the depravity that goes on these message boards. I'm going to go on the Reddit or boxing subreddit. I'm going to be going on Sherdog. I'm going to be going on Boxing Scene, the Underground, and a couple of other message boards that you might not be aware of, and comment sections as well. There's that one website, Box24 or Boxing24, I think. So that one was just like a kangaroo or something. That's their logo. They'll let anybody write there. Anybody can write an article. They just have to submit it. And man, let me tell you, some of these people, they don't know what the hell they're writing about. No disrespect, I'm just telling you, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, most of them. So, Spence Porter, by the way, that's going to be a good fight. And if it's free, the PBC, because you know what, at this point, the PBC, they got the Zone. They got to compete with the Zone and ESPN, both platforms who are not charging for pay-per-views. Meanwhile, the PBC right now, all they have is Showtime and Fox. And I don't know if they have enough money for Fox fights, that to put their big premium fighters there. Apparently, they want to do, like I said, Porter versus Spence there, but that's not official yet. By the way, it's going to be taking place at the Barclays, so I'd be curious to recognize if he intends on watching that fight there. But yeah, I mean, they have to put fights on Showtime too. Their main fights, their premium fights. So hopefully they can work it out, but they do have to compete now against the Zone. So they're trying, maybe we'll see everybody start stepping their game up. That's the great thing about competition. The bad thing is it's divided. Maybe some of these guys won't fight each other, but maybe they start cleaning their own houses and making better fights. I see we got Precise on the line.
Dependent upon how you interpret the data. What's up with all the transvestites in Hollywood, though? Because if you're a postmodernist and you don't have any standards, you're always going to keep moving the goalpost, and you're never going to stick to your own standards because you don't have any standards.
All right. Precise, are you there?
Yes. What's up, everybody?
Hey, good to have you on board, man.
Right on.
So yeah, we're just talking about Spence versus Porter. Apparently, they're gonna make that fight they want to make it off pay-per-view and at the Barclays Center. You think this is because, like I said, they have to step their game up? What with the Zone and ESPN streaming on the internet now?
That, and they got to promote Spence. You know what I mean? If he is to bring in money, they got to make these fights, definitely. Yeah. Not just because the competition has picked up their game lately, but also because, well, people want these fights. And if you want Spence to remain credible, be credible, he's got to fight everybody. And the same goes for Porter and Keith and yada, yada, yada.
Uh-huh. Well, so then this means that if they're already trying to make this, I think it's already official. I can't really tell here. I think it will be because I think they already reserved the Barclays for this fight, so it's pretty much almost set on stone. In stone. That means we're not gonna see Errol Spence go for greatness against Canelo.
Well, I mean, how realistic was that fight in the first place? I wouldn't mind seeing it, but both guys got to take care of business in their own divisions. I'm not against that fight, for the record, but
really,
there are better fights, I believe. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the fight. I wouldn't even have a problem if they fought at a catchweight, maybe 157 or something along those lines, right?
Right, but I mean, from my point of view, well, like you said, first of all, they have to clean their own houses. There's a lot of contenders there, but all these people that were saying Errol Spence, you know, that they were giving Mikey Garcia credit for stepping up against the big bad monster. But then I'm curious if they're gonna give Spence shit for not accepting the challenge and moving up to 160 to take on Canelo Álvarez.
No, they're gonna send Canelo up to 175 to fight Sergey because he dared mention his name, right?
Right.
So all these guys are out their fucking minds. Canelo talking about fighting Kovalev, Spence getting an offer to fight Canelo. I mean, it really stinks of promotion more than anything else.
Well, that's one of the things that we lament on this show is how it's all about mentioning another guy's name and using it as leverage in negotiations with somebody else, and all the so-called boxing fans eat it up. Oh, he said this. Oh, he said that. Oh, he said this. Ugh. Yeah, go ahead.
Like, do you think Canelo Kovalev is a credible fight? I mean,
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know my stance on this. I don't push for certain fighters. Most fighters, I don't think they should be moving up in weight, especially when you get a midget like Canelo. I know he's built like a tank, but come on, 175-pound. The light heavyweight division is one of the deepest divisions in the world, if not the best division in the world. It's got a deep roster. And you're gonna send midget Canelo there? I don't care how many PEDs you give him. I don't care how much he gets to decide the rules, the size of the ring, whatever. He ain't competing at 175. Just forget about that.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. That's why I don't see it as realistic. It's just lip service, man. I don't see it as a credible call out.
Then again, we have been seeing crazier things, like, when Kell Brook and Amir Khan stepping up to 160, Mikey Garcia stepping up against Errol Spence. I mean, this is the game of boxing.
But those are guys that were big at the division where they were. Canelo, I mean, next to some of these middleweights, he looks average, and next to Danny, he looks small. So, and that's two more divisions for a guy that's already moved up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And like you say, even though he might weigh as much as a light heavyweight, he's got the dimensions of a welterweight.
Exactly, that's true. By the way, we also got. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll just say Kovalev will box his head off, and he'll fuck him up. There's no need for that.
There is absolutely no need, unless Canelo goes. I was gonna say the R word, unless he goes mentally handicapped all of a sudden and decides that he wants to chase greatness, as they say. But that would be a very stupid move. But we got Gonzalo on the line. Gonzalo, you there?
Yes, hello.
Hey, how you doing, man?
How you doing, Mr. BDA?
Good. That's respect, Mr. BDA. By the way, was I reading in the Hangout chat that you're gonna be uploading videos now?
I was trying to, but somehow I went on a 35-minute rant or video, and I couldn't download it. It only allowed me 15 minutes, so I had to send a verification. And I'm here in the Philippines. I don't have a SIM card. They can only send me a message to verify who I am. Pete helped me with that, but I haven't followed through with that this morning.
Yo, I got the same problem, Gonzalo. That bitch don't let me upload videos over 15 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? And I verified and all that shit too. I got the same problem, Gonzalo. So you ain't the only one, buddy. Just so you know.
I'm pretty sure Johnny.
You going to do that on the desktop, right? BDA.
Well, hold on a second. First of all, you're not allowed to speak until we introduce you. Yeah, who's that? I don't know who that is. Is somebody talking? No, hold on a second.
I apologize. Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there, there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
All right. Recognize you there.
I like that little mix in the end, man.
It's just me pressing the button again. All right, now we got everybody in here. Fantastic. Yeah, what is that about? Is you can't upload videos that are more than 15 minutes without
Well, you guys are using a mobile device, correct?
That's correct, Bucho. I either use my cell phone, which is what I've been doing lately. Well, I haven't done shit lately in terms of making videos, but yeah, that's how I usually do it, or I do it on my tablet. But I know you could do it on your desktop, right? You could do that, or a laptop maybe, depending on what type of program you have. You can upload longer videos.
Well, see, because Bucho, what it told me to do was verify and all that other bullshit, and I did all that, and that bitch still ain't letting me fucking upload. Fucking, I'm like, what the fuck is the problem here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, you guys are, but you guys are recording live basically, and then uploading it. Like you're recording on YouTube and then uploading that, right?
No, I just record on bitch on my camera, and then I fucking.
Ah, okay, Jen. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's how I do it. But Johnny does it on camera because you can see obviously he's recording himself. I mean, he could do that with a tablet or his phone, but it looks like from a camera. Then I guess he takes that sim. I don't know. I'm guessing he uploads it to YouTube through. Damn, this guy's playing loud music. Sorry, and yeah, so that's how he uploads his. But I guess it's only like 15 minutes. I don't know. I mean, you guys do hour videos, or longer than 15-minute videos.
Yeah.
When I see you guys do your breakdowns on BDA and Precise, how do you guys do it?
I'll figure that shit out one of these days, man. I'll figure that shit out.
Well, yeah,
I just do it on my phone. I haven't had any issues, but sometimes YouTube's buggy.
So you guys do it on your. All right. So Precise, you do it on your phone.
Yeah, so do I. So do I.
You record like an hour video and you can upload that.
That's right.
Shit, I'm doing something wrong then.
Yeah, I'm fucking up then, bro, because I do the same damn thing.
Sometimes I do like 27-minute videos without realizing, I'm just talking. It's like 27 minutes pass by. I'm like, ah, shit, I gotta redo it because I know that's not gonna upload.
Well, see, the thing
Are
is,
you using a smartphone though? You gotta have a smartphone.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm using they say it's pretty smart. I mean, I got an iPhone, so I'm hoping that.
Yeah, so do I.
Those things used to be good, man.
The thing is, Precise has that white privilege. That's why he can upload it. You guys can't. But that's okay.
Yeah,
that's right, baby.
They told me I was too tan.
Well, and
I applied for white privilege, but
yeah,
said that I was a little too tan. I said, well, what about my fucking eyes? I mean, what about my eyes?
Hey guys, we gotta get back on the boxing topic.
Sorry, Bucho.
Sorry, Bucho. Yeah.
Bucho ruining all the fun. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we do have to get. What's the topic of today, Bucho? Exactly.
Well, basically, what De La Hoya said about he wants the Spence Canelo fight, which I think it can happen. I mean, why not? Spence is gonna move all the way to 160. I can see that happening. I don't think Canelo's gonna go down. It's a possibility, in my opinion.
I think even if it does get made, Spence ain't gonna want it because he's gonna be in for an ass kicking.
Well, if fucking Mikey did it, why can't fucking Spence do it? Everybody says Spence is so great. Spence, like they give credit to Spence for beating the midget there, but he can't even move to 154. Get out of here.
Wait a minute.
You know what I could see happening? I could see Spence trying to get some more belts at 147, maybe the Crawford fight, and then just jumping up to 160, see if Canelo's still there. Because 154 got just as dangerous of fighters as Canelo, I would say, for Spence, but no money. So why not jump over all that and just go straight to Canelo if the opportunity presents itself?
No, exactly. And the thing is that Spence is not gonna get any fights at welterweight. It seems like he's not gonna get the Crawford fight. It's been years since he's been talking about, a year and a half or something. He's been talking about Thurman. That never materialized. He might fight Sean Porter. Okay, that's a good fight, but then there's nothing else. If the fight's not gonna get made, then he should move up in weight, because that's what they were saying about Golovkin. Remember, Golovkin? No, he's not getting these fights. Well, he should move up and fight Andrew Ward.
Well, hey, Bucho. Here's my thinking. I think he's gonna have to eventually. He just eventually ain't gonna be able to make the weight no more. So he's gonna have to move up sooner or later. But what I just read, like right before y'all started the show, bro, was not to change subjects or anything, but they said they're aiming for August 3rd for Porter and Spence. So it's not confirmed yet, but that's what they're aiming for.
That's a hard fight for Spence, bro.
That's a good fight, dog. Yeah.
He can get through that one. That might be his toughest test. That might be.
Yeah,
I'm not saying for sure, but I'm just saying that,
Yeah. one more quick thing. As long as I said that, and they also said that Pacquiao's doing some election shit over there in the Philippines right now, and he said in a few days he's gonna take serious like whether he's gonna fight Thurman or Danny or whoever. So
Yeah, you're damn right. It's election time right now. They're driving me crazy with them speakers, promoting their candidates. Also, Bobby Pacquiao's running for senator. Yeah, you can hear him all day.
His little
Yeah,
brother.
Bobby Pacquiao.
Boo
Hey,
boy,
Bobby!
My buddy.
Boo boy is running for.
Hey, Bobby.
Every time I hear that name, I think of that movie, The Fan. You ever seen The Fan with De Niro?
Oh yeah, that's why I said Bobby. But you know what? It's interesting.
Bobby!
The Pacquiaos are they're gonna be like the Kennedys, the Filipino Kennedys, man. I mean, you got Bobby Pacquiao, you got Manny Pacquiao. Next, Jinky's gonna be
Hope
like
it doesn't. Yeah, it's gonna end the same way, yeah.
Except the Kennedys deserve
Hope
to
it
get
doesn't
shot,
end the
they
same
don't.
way.
Pacquiao just needs the Filipina Marilyn Monroe, and then he's good.
Phyllis McGuire.
Jinky's almost there.
Yeah, recognize. I remember when Bobby Pacquiao fought my buddy, my neighbor Hector Velasquez, and he lost because he low blowed him. He said, "No blow, no blow." And
Oh yeah,
he
you
lost
remember
by
that?
disqualification.
No blow.
Good pants. Good pants. Pants for Bobby is good pants.
Good pants.
Good pants.
I'm just doing my job. That's all I'm doing. I do my job. I do it good. I do my job.
Yeah, you told me that last night, Gonzalo.
Remember that fight was on Versus? Does that channel still exist, or? Because that was what Bob Arum with Top Rank. He was doing fights on a network called Versus, which is like a low level.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't even know if it exists anymore. Anyway, continuing on.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Well, you know what? This whole Errol Spence Canelo Álvarez thing seems to be a moot point because apparently Errol Spence is going to be fighting Sean Porter. Now, here's the question, though. Sean Porter. This is a fight that finally Sean Spence is fighting somebody, a real welterweight, right? That's what we're saying. But now the problem is Sean Porter. He can't be. He struggled the last time to make weight, 147. So is this a guy that should be fighting at 154? And if he does lose to Spence, are we gonna give Spence credit because he might have beaten a guy that's drained at 147?
Oh, I'll give him credit, BDA, if he beats him legit. Yes, I will give him credit because I think they're both in the same position where they can barely make 147 at this point. And, I'm sure there's some stuff that they do that can get him there and then they could fight. But Sean Porter is a problem, man. He's a fucking problem. And look, I think if it's the typical Sean Porter that comes in, even if there's some boxing fans that felt that he could have won, it's going to go to Spence, right? The close decision is going to go to Spence. At least that's what I think going in. But Spence is a guy you can't have an off day with him, right? I mean, he'll fuck you up. That's what's going to happen. So I'll give him credit if he pulls out a legit win. Pulls out a win like something like what Kell Brook did, even though it was a bit ugly, right, at times. But if he could pull out that kind of victory, I have to give Spence credit.
By the way, we got your point, but there's too much noise from your. It's like you're rubbing your microphone or something. It's like I don't know what you're doing there. No, seriously, I'm just saying because you made some good points.
Yeah, you know what it is, man. When I use my headphones, the wireless ones, I some other people's calls. Well, I guess they may be using headsets too. I could hear them talking, so it's kind of hard. I got to use these wired ones.
Well, you're spying on people. You can hear other people's conversations with the headphones. Is that what you said?
It's quick. It'll be like this. It'll be like, I know, right? And then that's it.
Whoa, you're like Gene Hackman in the conversation, man. You're hacking into people's fucking conversations. That's
One time
interesting.
I was having a conversation with somebody. Next thing I know, I hear somebody say, "Yeah, shit. I mean, maybe."
Pull it.
Wait,
pull it out.
We're gonna call recognize.
And I'm like,
your new nickname. Your new nickname's your new nickname's gonna be NSA. That's what you are. All right.
Yep.
But you made some good points about if he beats Sean Porter. And Sean Porter's nice and hydrated and all that. Yeah, definitely he should get some some credit. Now, some people are saying, oh, he underestimated Ugas. I don't think he underestimated Ugas. I think he did exactly what he was supposed to against Ugas, who's a strong fighter. Instead of trying to go head-to-head against him, he said, you know what, let me try to box him from the outside. What do you guys think? I mean, how can we judge this Ugas, his last fight?
I thought it was a good win, man. Good, clean win. I love his jabs, man, how he was fucking winging it. He was like lunging in, coming down, and freaking catching him on the end. I thought it was good stuff. It was a good fight for sure, but I was impressed.
Jesus.
I thought he won a close fight. Many people think he lost because he missed a lot of punches. Yeah, and they were both hitting with the inner part of their glove, lacing each other. But I thought he won because he tried more. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was
and,
a... Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. BDA.
No, go ahead.
No, just that, and Errol Spence is concerned that Errol Spence, Sean Porter's concerned that Errol Spence is going to headbutt him. That's one of his biggest concerns.
Well, I would be worried too. Sean Porter's like Timothy Bradley in there. By the way, before we continue on this subject, I just want to introduce Apology Man.
Big of the devil, and it shall appear. She just wanted the drama and you two to fight over her. That's what women do. Your punishment must be masturbate. I lost respect for all of you.
Bitches are stupid. I treat them like shit. That's how you get one to eat a dick. Never be sweet to a bitch.
All right, Apology, you there?
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Good,
what
man.
up, dude?
Yeah.
Good to have you on board.
How you doing, Apology?
Yeah, good. Feeling good. Feeling alive.
Look, we're talking about Porter versus Spence. Apparently, they're trying to make that fight, and it's probably going to take place at the Barclays Center, they're saying, so it's almost official. So, Apology Man, what do you think about that fight?
I mean, I'm glad it's happening. It should have happened a long time ago, but I'm glad it's happening now. That trying to get these belts unified, finally the best are fighting the best. So it should be a good fight, but I think Spence should take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have to say that, you know what, guys, Sean Porter, I've never been a fan of. I don't think he's good, but it's just personally, I don't like his style. It might be effective. It's not pretty, obviously, but I think he's becoming one of the better welterweights from the PBC by default. And there's no shame in that, because since these guys are not willing to fight each other, he's the go-to guy. You know, the blue-collar guy that, you know, is going to get offered the fight, and he's been taking, you know, the fight against Danny. He took it against Thurman. He was put in there against Ugas. Compared to these other guys, Spence going to 135. The fights are not happening in welterweight, and this guy is taking the fights. So, you know he just might be better. He might be sharper and might end up, you know, doing better because of the fact that he's the only one, you know, being more active.
Yeah, I got something to add to that, Gonzalo, bro. That's one thing you can't say about Porter, because that motherfucker does fight everybody, and his style's kind of annoying to me too. But that dude does get in there and fight everybody. Everybody's able to anyway. I gotta give Porter that.
I also got to give Paul credit. He's at least trying to improve his style. Like in the Ugas fight, at times I saw him trying to box, trying to use his jab, going to the body, throwing feints. In the Garcia fight as well, he looked a lot smoother at times. He's not like clinching as much as he used to do.
He's a crafty fighter, man. Like you said, Apology. He sets up his shots. He's got some good feints. Sometimes he'll come in with some interesting angles. He'll switch angles on a guy, pivot, you know, kind of a little bit like Lomachenko. I'm not saying completely like Lomachenko, but every once in a while he'll throw his opponent off with a nice change of angles. He can fight on the inside. He can maul, brawl, or he can box a little bit from the outside too. He's got some decent footwork. So at this point, he's a complete package in the sense that he's a jack of all trades in the ring. But the question is, does he have the tools necessary to beat Errol Spence? Because he doesn't have blazing hand speed. I'm talking about Porter. He doesn't have blazing punching power. He has to labor to beat the best out there. And that's not a knock against him, but I'm just saying, is it enough to beat Errol Spence?
He's good at everything. He's not great at anything, BDA, is what it is. And Spence has got a good fucking long, stiff jab, and Porter's quite a bit shorter than him too. So I don't think he beats him, but I think he'll make him a good fight though.
So I don't know if it's too early for predictions, but do you guys?
Yeah, my bad. This is what came to mind.
Well, no, I'm gonna ask. Do you guys think that this fight ends as a knockout win for Spence?
No, I think
doubt
Port's
it.
tough enough. Yeah, Port's too tough, man. Like, he took shots from Garcia. I know Garcia's not the biggest puncher, but, he's got, like, I don't know, something about Garcia's punches. They seem to stun you. They won't knock you out, but just, like, make you, like, blurry and stun you, and then he'll set you up later for his, like, left hook or killer punch that'll knock you out. And Porter took his shots and kept coming forward.
You know what? It's like getting punched by that Danny Garcia. It's like listening to his father talk. It's not gonna knock you out, but it's just fucking annoying, and you gotta watch out. That's what his punches are like. But you're right. He does look. Some people overestimated his power after the Khan fight and the Morales fight because he knocked those guys out clean. But he does have heavy hands. I would say if it's a video game, let's say, out of 100%, I would give him between 85 and 89% punching power. He's not gonna knock you. Put it this way: he's not a Gennady Golovkin type puncher or Adonis Stevenson, but he's just a little bit under that, a level under that. That's my opinion. I don't know what you guys think.
Also, real quick, who Spence knocked out? That's good. Like knocked out. He stopped Brooke, but he didn't knock out anyone. That's good.
Chris Algieri, come on, bro.
Jeez.
Yeah, Leonard.
Hey, you got to let him out of the cage.
I was just gonna say, I think now that I think about it, Errol Spence is concerned that Sean Porter's gonna headbutt him because one's left and the other's right-handed, and they're gonna clash. Their front feet are gonna fucking they're gonna be their lead foot. They're gonna run into each other, and he's just concerned that he's gonna headbutt him. And but anyways, I think Errol Spence is gonna try to work on the inside and try to break him down when he's rushing in. But he's just concerned that he's gonna come in head first.
Mm-hmm. Well,
right.
we saw against Mikey Garcia that really the modus operandi for Spence now is going to be box from the outside a little bit and see what the other guy has to offer. And if they don't have to offer much, then he starts to turn it on. He doesn't start off right out of the gate. Like Apology said, he's not Adonis Stevenson, Sergey Kovalev. He doesn't drop you within the first 3 rounds. He's more of a wear you down type fighter, at least against the top fighters. And against Sean Porter, I don't expect him to brawl right from the get-go. I think he's going to try to use his height and reach, try to keep Porter away from him. And he might just realize that boxing Porter from the outside is not as easy as he might think. Just because he's taller and longer doesn't mean it's going to be that easy. Because like I said, Porter, he's a crafty fighter.
Crafty's the new slick.
You know what? Recognize you're asking for a ban, aren't you?
Oh, I apologize. I just thought that maybe crafty is a better word than the other one. I'm not going to say it.
He does not get it.
Yeah. Because as far as the Canelo fight, now that you're bringing up Spence, I don't think it's going to happen now, but it will in the future. But I really do think that Errol Spence would benefit from coming up in weight because I think he would just be that much better.
He'd fill out on the pounds as well. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the other thing. We were talking with Precise when the show started about how, these people asking for fighters to step up. It's fun. It's fun to watch, and it's intriguing to watch a guy move up and, let's see what he can bring up, and let's see how he looks during the weigh-in and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, do we really want to see... Because I know I made a video, for example, about Errol Spence and how he should move up to at least 154. Because this motherfucker is a big dude, and I was using the logic of these people, of his fans, saying, well, he beats everybody at 147 and 160. And I was thinking, well, why not move up already?
Fuck out of here.
I know what I'm saying, right? But now, especially... What's that?
Go ahead.
Well, just real quick, I mean, I think we all know, after seeing Canelo slug it out against Golovkin and boxing the much bigger Jacobs, not only does he have head movement, he's got size. I don't see Errol Spence. I don't see any. I don't see anything yet from Spence that tells me he could be, even if they were the same weight, that he could beat Canelo. Well, actually, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit.
And
but,
also, like, can these? I don't mind super fights, but can these guys like clean out the division first? Like Spence hasn't even beaten Paul or Crawford. Let's see how he does against them, and then move up to fight Canelo.
Yeah,
great point.
Well, the problem I have with him at 154, I think he should just go straight to 160. To be honest, because he's not going to fight his boyfriend Charlo at 54. I doubt he fights big ass Jared Hurd, who should be fighting fucking Vosdick at 175. And I mean, who's he going to fight at 54?
Tony Harrison.
Ah, come on.
That's probably the best matchup for him in
Yeah.
terms of winning. But does it make big money? Does that Tony Harrison versus Spence? Who's the big guy? Who's the money guy at 154? And by the way, I don't think he can. I don't think he will wipe out 154. Like, nah. I would think one of those guys beats him.
Hurd
I don't. Is the big money fight? You think? Apology.
Yeah, he's like, he's not the number one guy, but the guy I see most people talking about. Because Charlo just lost, and everyone hates what's the guy that beat him? What's his name?
Tony Harrison.
Yeah, Tony Harrison.
Tony Harrison, yeah.
Yeah. And no one likes him because, he apparently robbed Charlo. Yeah, he's not a true brother. He robbed Charlo, so it's probably Hurd. He's the most popular.
Yeah.
He's not a true brother. Boy, he's dark skin.
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
He's from Detroit, isn't he? Tony Harrison.
Yeah, he's from bro.
Yeah, he's got that style. That's
very technical fighters.
Yeah,
the guys from Detroit. They're very technical.
Yeah, he's a true brother. Yeah, he's a true brother in the style and everything. But I don't know. Just people get their weird fetishes. I was just gonna say that it's hard to pick anybody, BDA, that can beat Canelo from 160 or 168. Because he's so well rounded. Maybe not great in all the areas, but he's just very good. That he can present a style that can compete with any other guy and change it if he needs to. To just very difficult, even for Golovkin, and he'd probably be the favorite in the next fight. But with Errol Spence, the only case that I can make if he moved up in weight that he does better than Canelo is he's more active. He's more consistent throughout 3 minutes.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3,
Sorry about that.
Probably fight a minute and a half out of the 3 minutes. And that's the only thing.
What the fuck?
He'd probably be more active and more consistent through the 12 rounds. Just more consistent. I'm not saying he's going to throw a whole hell of a lot of punches, but he'll be able to be more consistent throughout every round.
Is that the
phone? We're live on Block Talk Radio. Every time you hear that sound, it's because we're on Block Talk, guys.
Oh, I was wondering. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I gotta find a way because when I
was just gonna say, I think Andre, Billy Joe Saunders, Zulensky, and Golovkin can all beat Canelo. I don't think those are like, a sure thing for Canelo at all. Actually,
say them names again, precise.
Saunders, if you can make 160. Andre, I'm not saying I would pick these guys, but I'm saying these are interesting fights.
Right.
Zulensky and Triple G. And what about Derevianchenko? Shit, I mean,
Derevianchenko would be a hard fight for Canelo, but I think the other guys don't have the power, and just Canelo
doesn't have the power. He didn't even buzz. Maybe he buzzed Jacobs. I'm not sure, but he couldn't really do much to Jacobs. So and Jacobs didn't, he said he struggled to make that rehydration.
Precise, you'll like this. I just watched the fucking Canelo Triple G2 again this morning when I was having my coffee and I skirted for Golovkin. Dude. Golovkin almost pitched a shutout in the last fucking 6 rounds of that fight. I forgot about that, man.
Yeah, he finished strong in that fight, man. And Canelo was nicking rounds. He was winning early, but a lot of them body shots were blocked or low. So it is what it is. I got no problem with Canelo winning the fight. I think he deserved it, but it wouldn't have been a robbery if Triple G got it either.
Yeah, exactly.
But to my point, what I was saying, I actually rewatched that Jacobs fight, Canelo Jacobs fight, and Danny was done, guys. In the last 3 rounds, he didn't have any energy. He was pushing his punches. He didn't have any feet. He was actually lively against Golovkin in the last 3 rounds, and he didn't have that energy against Canelo. And Canelo looked flat too. He looked really good, I think, in the 11th round, but like that was not an impressive performance for me because Jacobs was just he was drained, man. Not like drained where he was useless. He was good for 9 rounds, but that's it. So I don't know what's up with Canelo. I maybe he had an injury, something. He didn't look good in that fight, man.
Canelo had like has that knee. How do you call it? Knee pad. A knee pad.
Yeah, he was a little stiff. Like he couldn't close the distance very well on Jacobs.
No, but yeah, what I'm saying, yeah, he has that thing on his knee because apparently it's
a knee brace. Yeah,
knee brace. Yeah. He had an injury there, but could have been. But man, I think that Canelo was sharp and fucking he made Jacobs hesitate. And whether Jacobs got tired later on, whatever. When Jacobs was fresh, Jacobs was the bigger guy, and he didn't want to engage. I don't understand why Jacobs keeps doing this shit. I mean, he puts on all this weight and then doesn't take advantage of that weight advantage. You know what I mean? So I don't know what the fuck his game plan was, but I think he was fucking
it's not that good, Pucho.
Yeah, okay, but well, he's the number 2 or number 3 fucking middleweight right now, and the guy just didn't impress me, man. I mean, we can blame Canelo for it, but come on, Jacobs, when he was fresh, all right, before he got tired, whatever, he wasn't doing anything. He was hesitant. He was jittery. He was throwing that shitty poing jab. He looked scared, man.
He was landing just as many punches as Canelo was landing early in that fight.
I think Canelo was landing more punches, man. It was.
I think Canelo was landing better punches, but I think Jacobs was landing just as many.
I rewatched the fight. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, BD.
No, I was like, I gave Canelo 10 rounds. Don't get me wrong, but he was just barely winning these rounds because he was the aggressor and his punches were better. But Jacobs was landing on him. Like
I saw Jacobs miss a lot, though. He was missing a lot. That Canelo head movement was kind of like questioned. Made Jacobs question himself whether he should attack or not.
But Canelo wasn't countering off the head movement. It's like
he wasn't that much.
He wasn't always doing it.
No,
he gets a lot of credit for it, and that's fine. I get it, but it's not the type of head movement where like you're afraid that he's going to counter you off of it because he gets himself out of position. I don't find that stuff impressive. It's flashy, but I don't find it impressive. If you guys rewatch P-Dog, how he was moving his head and countering Jacobs at the same time while coming forward, different Jacobs, I get it, but that's effective head movement. That's defense that leads to offense. Canelo is just like Mayweather, just like slipping and sliding, and it's exciting. It looks pretty, but it's not. It doesn't score. It doesn't score you anything.
Well, neither is taking the punches on your gloves. Which I mean, Golovkin was kind of like when Jacobs unloaded on Golovkin a lot of times, especially at the latter part of the fight. Golovkin wasn't coming back with anything. He was just taking the shots. They weren't landing. They were landing on the gloves, but he was just taking them. So I don't know. It looks more impressive, obviously, when Canelo moves his head and nothing fucking lands.
Look, Canelo's a strong guy, and he has a lot of muscle. And I'm not gonna say that he was like to the point of like really being fatigued, that he was gonna expose himself, to getting countered by Jacobs. He did barely enough, but he clearly won the rounds. But he was still like worried to where if he needed to turn it on, he's gonna save something in the gas tank just in case Jacobs decided to come in with a flurry. He would win the rounds, but let's say if Jacobs would have turned it on, he would have still had something in the tank as reserve to do more if he needed to. But okay, he still won the rounds, and I gave him 9 rounds to 3. And as far as Jacobs, him being dehydrated, he has the tendency of coming on stronger during the latter part of the fights. So, when he wins, like against Deryachenko, he don't cry out, "Oh, well, I was dehydrated. I need to move to 168." But when he loses, he's always bringing up the excuse that he's not 100%. So, I mean, I'm not gonna go ahead and and blame Canelo entirely. Of him not fighting the best version of Jacobs. It's just this is what Jacobs has been proving to do.
And if he had trouble making weight, how much was he planning on actually weighing without the fucking rehydration clause? I mean, it's insane. I heard he was at 186.
Yeah, who said that, by the way?
Against Canelo.
Was that
so without the rehydration clause, what was he expecting to be at? One fucking
The same.
90?
The same.
One fat fuck.
He would have been the same. It's just that he would have rehydrated healthfully, not at the last minute because he had to stay dehydrated for like 36 hours or something crazy like that. So he would have come in at 186 just the same, except he wouldn't be draining, he wouldn't be suffering to make that rehydration clause. He would have rehydrated gradually and he wouldn't have been drained, basically.
So he wasn't fully drained, basically. He wasn't well, hold on. But so he weighed in at 160 on Friday, and then when was the second weigh-in?
The morning of the next morning.
So he put on 13 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 pounds.
Is that bad? Is that like...
As soon as he jumped off the scale... it's bad. As soon as he jumped off the scale and breathed, that's like another 5 pounds right there, bro.
Okay.
It's bad because you drink the water. You drink the water, it goes into your muscles or wherever first, right? And then it has to replenish the fluid around your brain, but that takes the longest. So if you got just 12 hours to do that, you're not going to be able to do that. So all of a sudden you can't take punches as well. Maybe you're getting a little bit dizzy. Like you're not the same. It takes these guys like 3 to 4 days to drop that water weight, and then they're hoping to have 36 hours to put it all back on. But Canelo told him, no, you're still gonna struggle for the last 10 hours before the fight. That there's a reason why he has a rehydration clause, because he knows it's going to affect his opponent. That's why they have the clause in there.
Yeah, of course.
But that brings up the point then. If Sorry, I want to say something real quick. If that brings up the point, if Jacobs is planning to weigh in at 186 or 190, I don't know where people are getting that number from, but if it's true, then like I said prior to the fight, maybe Canelo has a point in exercising or putting in a rehydration clause. I mean, these motherfuckers are playing the game. Jacobs is playing the game by adhering to that flawed system of allowing bigger guys to fight at weight divisions they should, and Canelo is using his powers as an A side to put a stop to that. So
that's almost 30 pounds, man.
It's insane.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Is that even fucking possible? What the fuck?
I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Sorry, right. Well, actually, hold on. Gonzalo wanted to say something.
That's it's official. He was 186 point something the day of the fight.
But where did you see that though? Because I read that too, and I
don't remember. Go check it. I'll look for it.
Yeah, we need somebody.
He was 13 pounds heavier than Canelo.
By the way, Gonzalo, you wanted to say. All right, go ahead, Regnaz. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Regnaz.
So if I cut somebody off, let them speak.
No.
Okay, when somebody makes this comment, I want to ask you guys' opinion, right? He was pushing 200 pounds. What weight would you consider pushing 200 pounds? Would you say that's in the 190s?
Yeah.
Okay, so when he fought Triple G, they talked to Sean Porter's father, and Sean Porter, they asked him they asked Sean Porter's father. I think he was on Dante Boxing. They asked him, "Who do you think won the fight?" He said, "I thought Triple G won." And I think he gave like a scorecard, and it was pretty wide. And they're like, "Wow, you had it like that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You wasn't impressed with anything Triple G did?" He goes, with Jacobs." He said, "No, the guy was fighting to survive," and he said he was. I mean, if you're gonna weigh, you're gonna be pushing 200. That's how he said it, I believe. If you're gonna be pushing 200. Why would you fight a guy much smaller than you to survive?
Oh, I know that hurt Dante's feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it hurt him, but I mean, I'm sure it did probably, right? But that was his statement. He said pushing 200, and when I think of pushing 200, you're in that 190 range.
How was Canelo supposed to knock out this guy though? I mean, because I remember people saying, well, Golovkin had trouble knocking out Jacobs because he was so big at the day of the fight. Well, same thing for Canelo. I mean, he was fighting a big guy there.
But it's not the same thing. This is the point I'm trying to make. Look, Daniel Jacobs has established a way of making weight. This is how he does it. He wakes up the morning of the fight at a certain weight, and then he puts on the last few pounds, whatever. He's learned to do it this way. He has a system. This is the number 2 middleweight in the world, Daniel Jacobs. The guy that Canelo fought was not that same guy. That's the whole point. That's why in the last 3 rounds, the guy had no legs. He was pushing all of his punches. It's not the same Danny Jacobs. I'm not blaming Canelo for doing what he did. I'm just trying to judge these fighters accurately. And Danny Jacobs was not at 100% in that fight. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I actually gave him the 10th and the 11th round in that fight.
That's
the
it.
ninth round he lost. The 10th and the 11th. The ninth
Canelo
round he lost.
schooled him in like the 11th round. I thought he schooled him.
No, that's just the rounds that I gave. Well, that's me. But he won. Canelo won the 12th. But I gave.
Maybe it was the 12th. I don't remember, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, he won the 10th and the 11th. In the 9th round, Jacobs, I believe he lost, but he did land that big left sweeping left hook, that left sweeping hook. He landed that shot, that caught everybody's attention, the hardest punch of the fight. But that's about the only thing he did in that round. But he lost that round.
Do you not remember Danny not having anything in the last 3 rounds? He looked dead. He didn't have, his feet were flat and he was pushing his jab. Yeah, he was throwing a lot of punches, but it was all arm punches. He was done in the last 3 rounds. This is what I'm talking about. Guys, just go back and watch the last 3 rounds of the Golovkin fight and the last 3 rounds of the Canelo fight. Completely different fighter. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead, Johnny boy.
No, I was just gonna say, what's funny, all you guys. I was talking to my boy Cadillac the other day. Now he probably couldn't hang with us for boxing knowledge, but he knows this shit 70s, 80s, and forward. You know what I'm saying? And he watches all the big fights and stuff. And we used to spar and shit together. But even he was I was like, yeah, bro, I got fucking people telling me Jacobs got robbed and all this other bullshit. And even he was like, hell no, Canelo won that fight, bro. They're crazy.
Well, there's 2 things.
Anybody that thinks that he lost the fight is just, I don't know what fight they were watching, bro.
For real, dude. For real.
There's 2 things here.
It's just like the Triple G thing, the same thing, and that was the same kind of theme after the fight.
It's pity points, bro. He's cancer boy. He gets pity points. That's what it's about.
Come on.
But he showed hard against Sulecki. If he would have left it on the table, he could have lost that fight if he wouldn't have pushed hard in the final rounds. You know
what?
Yeah.
You know what, Gonzalo? I think when he dropped Sulecki in the 12th, that kind of saved him, bro. To be honest with you. Remember?
No, that's my thing. His punches carry power late. Like I said, I think he won the 10th and 11th, and he landed that very good sweeping left hand in the 9th, even though he lost a round.
No, I meant against Sulecki.
No, but it's the same thing. He knocked him down in the 12th, and I believe in the 10th and 11th round he did good against Canelo, and he landed that very hard shot in the 9th round. He landed a very hard shot in the 10th as well.
Oh yeah, I was just saying. I think that kind of saved him on the scorecards against Sulecki. That's all I was saying.
And I think if he was a little bit not a little bit dehydrated, not at his best, he saved himself too much in the early rounds to conserve the gas tank, to where he could kind of bring it on strong. And that's why I think Canelo was a little worried, because you never know with this guy, with Jacobs. So he fought him. He did enough to win the first 7 rounds and kind of kept him at bay. And Jacobs tried to be, cagey or smart and come on strong. He still lost the 12th round, but he put up a good fight in the 10th and the 11th. In the 9th round, he scored that very good hard shot. So I don't know how too much he was dehydrated. If he did, he was conserving some energy.
All you got to do, Gonzalo, like I said, because you're not listening, all you got to do is look at the man's legs and look at how he's pushing his punches. That's all you got to do.
I think
it ain't about how many punches he landed. It's about what he looked like. He looked flat.
In this fight, looked discouraged. At some point, I think Jacobs got discouraged because he wasn't landing much. He really wasn't landing much. Against Golovkin, I mean, come on, he was trading with fucking Golovkin, man.
He wasn't landing anything on Golovkin, bro.
No, he was straight. He had the balls.
He had a very difficult time landing anything on Golovkin, bro.
Okay, but he was throwing down, man. He was letting them punches go. Against Canelo, when he did that, for the most part, he missed. Whether some people don't like how Canelo moved his head or it's not impressive enough, whatever. it made Jacobs not land his punches. He was
Yeah.
making Jacobs miss. And against Golovkin, well, listen, you're unloading on a guy. He's just blocking the punches. You're kind of encouraged to do it again. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't really being deterred by Golovkin that much.
Like,
So I think he was just discouraged against Canelo.
What happened
and
against Golovkin?
it's not just the power. I think the head movement, although he was not punching and incorporating his offense as his defense, this is what I kind of think about. Okay, maybe Vasily Lomachenko is the only one that could do this right now. Okay, but at this weight at 160, I think of this example. Does the bullfighter always kill the bull on the first time he comes and rushes him? No, he the bull passes by, the crowd chants "Ole." He dodges the bull. He dodges him a few times. The bull gets pissed off. He gets frustrated. The bullfighter gets more confidence. He's calm, cool, collective in the pocket. And I think this is what frustrated Jacobs. It threw him off his rhythm.
Well, let me say something about that.
But also another point. I think Jacobs.
Yeah, can you hear me, Bucho? Or did you just hear me?
Breaking up.
Am I on delay? Okay, I'm breaking up. All right. Just wanted to say regarding the Golovkin Canelo.
I hear you. Man.
All right. Thanks, man. Regarding the the Jacobs Golovkin fight, you're absolutely right about that. That Golovkin was using the earmuff defense a little bit more. But what happened? That was later on in the fight. In the beginning, he was using good footwork and keeping Jacobs at the end of the jab. At some point, Jacobs started countering Golovkin over the jab with overhand rights, and something happened also that allowed Jacobs to get closer. Maybe because he was desperate, because he was behind. I don't know, but he did start to get closer to Golovkin, and that's in the last 4 rounds, more or less, is when Golovkin started standing his ground more and just covering up. And the other thing is that when you miss a punch, it takes more out of you. We know that. And Jacobs, like you said, he was missing a lot against Canelo. So maybe, and Canelo was pressing him too. He was landing some good shots when he engaged. So maybe that made him tired, and maybe also that, along with the fact that he had to do 2 weigh-ins essentially, to put it mildly, maybe that all contributed to a bit of a late round fade. He did try it in the last 2 rounds. He did try, but at this point, we're getting down to technicalities.
And this is also speculation, but I think when Jacobs fought Golovkin, Golovkin was a knockout artist. He was undefeated. Jacobs probably just wanted to, at some point, he didn't really believe he could win that fight. It was going to be very difficult. He was finding his hometown. Maybe he got like a little bit of an extra push in that latter part of the fight where he was like, oh shit, he knocked me down, but now I'm still in the fight. I'm still throwing punches. But against Canelo, I really think he believed that this is that fight that I can win. I'm fighting a smaller guy. He's not a Golovkin type of puncher, heavy puncher. And then when he started realizing that he was losing so many rounds, I think he just got fucking discouraged, man. And you could see it in his corner, man.
Yeah,
well, exactly. Golovkin pressed him more. Canelo didn't really go for broke because he didn't have to. So when you got a guy constantly landing his jab on you, you want to go get your lick back. When you have a guy fighting in spurts, then he doesn't take initiative. He just responds to what it is that you're doing. And because Golovkin just puts on more pressure than Canelo, well, then we got a different Danny in that fight too, I think.
Yeah,
hold on.
Triple G is a seek and destroy guy that turns his punches in the heart. Go ahead. Do you want to introduce Jimmy?
Well, I want to introduce Jimmy, but also Apology in the chat room keeps telling us to move. Are you telling the chat to move on, or are you telling us to move on? Apology.
I don't know.
What's up, bro? You don't have to play the music, bro. Because I don't want to interrupt the conversation. You guys are going good.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
Fight we've got in a long time.
You tell us, Apology. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about MGTOWs?
The defense is really good from Canelo. I just want to say this one thing. It's really good from Canelo. But just let me come on.
Hold on.
Let me finish this, John. Just hold on.
Right.
If I just give me an opportunity, I'll be done before you guys realize it.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say when Canelo turns his neck and he rides with the punch, that's really excellent because it takes away the run of the shot. We were talking about how Golovkin was really marked up from the face and Canelo not so much, but he had that big gash. Is because Canelo would roll his neck, and we could see that in the first and second fight. He caught a lot of the punches on the temple and the side of the head because he doesn't allow to be hit square in the face. You
don't think the loaded wraps has anything to do with the facial damage on Golovkin? Come on, man, tell the truth.
Wait a minute.
Well, I don't know. Because obviously, Bob Venn. Obviously, Bob Bennett was looking at that and he allowed it. I'm not saying it was right. Personally, dude, if I'm gonna fight, obviously he did it. I'd rather not carry that extra ounce or two with tape and gauze. That's gonna, from fighting with the 10-ounce gloves, gonna make it seem like I'm fighting with 12 ounces. Gonna make it harder for me to carry my hands up to my with the high guard and keep throwing punches to the course of 12. I would prefer not to do that. Well, he did it obviously because there was somebody watching. Was it to his benefit? I really don't know if it was a clear advantage, but obviously they know how to do this with the stacking and the taping. So yeah, I could say that it probably did do that, and a lot had to do with that. But what
That's
I'm
a
saying,
long way. That's a long, convoluted way of saying that you agree. But look,
no, well, it's not that I agree. It's a fact. It's the fact that he did do it.
Tito Trinidad got like his whole career put into question for doing the same thing once. And not even in a fight, before the fight, that Canelo does in every fight so far as we know. So just for reference.
But I more so I was just stating the fact that Canelo just avoids shots, not necessarily in the Golovkin fight, but he has that skill.
He rolls punches very well. I agree. He rolls punches very well. He does.
Yeah.
Hey, can I add about Triple G's face in the Jacobs fight? He caught a lot of laces in that fight. A lot of slaps.
Yeah.
Too. Then nothing scrapes up a Caucasian's face like fucking lace shots.
What fight are you talking about?
With Jacobs at the Garden, yeah. He would swipe a few of those things with a couple of slaps too.
And it really didn't do. And if you look at Canelo's, Jacobs fight, the Jacobs fight. If you look at G's face afterwards, it wasn't that bad. It
wasn't puffy. It was scraped.
It was
what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This guy was growing. He was just growing like lumps
it looked like Cotto's fight after the first Margarito fight. That's what it looked like. Come on, man.
Something like that. Yeah. Without all the blood and shit.
Yes.
You watching the fucking Celtics game tonight, buddy?
No, dude. I haven't been into the Celtics for years, dude. The sport took a certain direction, it left me behind. You know what I mean? I'm a Bruins fan and shit, but I've been listening to Kyrie acting like a turd. But anyways, no, I haven't got a chance to talk about the Jacobs fight. I don't think so. I guess people want us to move on, but I just want to say, I just don't think Jacobs. I mean, when it comes down to it, you either have a heart of a fighter or you have the skills of a fighter. And Jacobs is an extremely athletic kid who boxing was his sport. It was his way he was going to make the money. But at his heart, he's not going to fucking go in and say fuck it. Because what, you know what I mean? There's no way he knew he wasn't winning that fight. I mean, I don't give a fuck what he says. He knows he wasn't winning. Rozier knew he wasn't winning by the end of 6 rounds. He gave too many rounds away. The only chance he was going to, against the smaller dude, I don't give a fuck that he has a gallon neck and redheads have that Todd strength. Get in there and bang, dude.
Todd strength.
You know what I mean? They're fucking but they do. They're crazy strong kids, man. But get in there and fucking let it hang out. I'd have more respect for him today if he got caught and fucking got clipped, right? And got knocked out. But then, hey, he fucking went in there and made
he did it against Golovkin when Golovkin started slowing down. That's what I remember. And everybody was like, why is Golovkin so slow? What's going on? Oh, it must be he's maybe aging, whatever. Point is, that's when Jacobs found his balls. But against Canelo, he never found them.
I think styles makes fights,
Canelo's
man.
very versatile.
Styles makes fights.
He had to stop to win. My personal opinion, I think they knew going in where it was, the date. They had to stop him to win. I think they don't believe they could have stopped Canelo. So to them, it was a fucking big, huge-ass payday. Because, we're all fucking, everybody bitches about these, because it didn't live up to expectations at all. I mean, it still was one of the more exciting fights from what we've been dealt. But when you got guys like Robert Diaz, right, he tweeted out, get ready for the next Hearns Hagler too, man. The modern day Hearns. That's how they were trying to sell it.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? It's like, come on, dude. Hagler Hearns, the first fucking round, destroyed that entire fight.
Hey, Jimmy,
you know what, Jimmy?
Bro. Jimmy, I think. I'm sorry, God.
No, go ahead. Recognize. Go ahead. Yeah, because
go ahead.
I'm like
delayed
when I'm today. I apologize, guys. It's just like a fucking delay.
No, I was just gonna say, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh man, this is a mess today.
No, recognize. I'm
Assholes.
sorry.
What's going on?
Both of you guys are cool.
I apologize. All right, come on.
Hey, listen.
All right, listen.
All right.
Quickly. something that Jimmy said that I found it made me think of the Triple G and Jacobs fight. Triple G went back to his corner going into the 12th round. This is after the 11th, and Sanchez told him something. Abel Sanchez had said something to him like, "Yo, we got to take this round. Got to beat him up." He said something like that. Triple G kind of gave him a look like, "You think it's that bad? All right, I'll fuck him up. I'm gonna fuck him up in this round then." And the way he did it, the way he was just landing shots on him at will, he turned it up, and Jacobs really couldn't do shit, man. But just try to get out the way, right? He was fighting back, but always always getting hit with big shots in the 12th round. That's when you saw Triple G not only just using the jab in that fight. He was in that round at least. He was just landing. He was trying to land big combination, and he landed on Jacobs pretty easily. Like I'm saying, you could have done that earlier if that's the case, right? Maybe fought with that kind of urgency. For anyway, it brought me back to Jimmy's point. It brought back when Jimmy was saying that, you know, Jacobs is one of those guys that just doesn't. He's not going to go out there and give it all out. He's just that he's a really good athlete, and maybe that's what you saw in the Canelo fight, because Canelo was outboxing him where Triple G, I like to use this word, Triple G was out punching him. So like he was putting pressure and he had to fight. He was out punching him, and so you saw some more activity from Jacobs, where, you know, it's just him reacting, and so he's reacting to Canelo, but in a much negative way, because Canelo's not like really pressing the action. He's just outboxing him, and I thought he did pretty easy.
You know what Danny Jacobs was thinking in both, and that explains both of the fights. This is the same thing he was thinking in both the Canelo and the Triple G fights. He was thinking about how he's going to be spending the Canelo $10 million. That's what he was thinking.
My thing is this,
if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
So in the Golovkin fight, he was thinking forward to bigger, better paydays. In the Canelo fight, he was like, "I got $10 million in the bank."
Yeah.
So this is an interesting point, because it brings up the question then: where do we rank Jacobs? Because the guy. Oh, hold on a second. That's right. Shout out to Scale Bender, aka Pete, who just donated with a super chat, and he says Canelo did enough to win, but Jacobs was as drained as Robert Kraft. Hashtag Orchids of Asia.
Robert Kraft.
Orchids of Asia. Who's Robert Kraft? Who's Robert Kraft?
Owner of the Patriots.
That's the Patriots owner. The owner of the
Patriots.
Well, if people know what he got in trouble for, they'll know what he means by that.
Well, he drank salt water or something? But listen, the point is this.
No, I think he was getting a happy ending at anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, I got caught with his Johnson out. Yeah, we got caught in a massage parlor. They give you happy endings.
Guys were a bunch of guys were jerking him off. Is that what you're saying?
Well, massage parlor. Well, I mean, it was the ones that, you know, famous for, like all those down there in Boca Raton. All the rich white guys go down there in the fucking, you know, the little girls who got some fucking baby oil and fucking $100, and you get your tensions taken away. But anyways,
but listen, the point is this.
Seriously though.
Yeah, the point is this. Then I was going to ask is, so Jacobs, where do we rank Jacobs then? Because the motherfucker, he's good enough to beat guys like Sulensky and Derevchenko, but against the two cream of the crop guys, he's come up short in the scorecard. So how good is he? Because Jimmy, you said he doesn't have the heart. So does that mean just against those two guys, yeah, go ahead.
And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I really don't. I like Jacobs. I think he's a good dude. He seems like I saw a pitch him at the Child's Hospital and shit, doing stuff like that. Anyways, but yeah, I just don't think he. You know what I mean? Like Precise hit it. You got $10 million in the bank. He's like, why? I'm not going to fucking break my eye socket or get knocked out. To him, it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? But then his guys, and I'm going to bring him up because that's the dude I know who's fought up at that level. Who the money was never an issue. He never gave a fuck about the money. He just wanted to fight. You know what I mean? And so that would have been on his mind. He would have been like, fuck this. I'm losing. The only chance I'm going to be able to get is knock him out. And that's a difference. That's the mindset of a fighter opposed to an athlete who happened to be earning his dough in boxing.
Black Lomachenko, that's the best name of all time. Black Lomachenko says, Quillen stops Hagler.
Well, it's interesting.
Because you were
man.
asking BDA. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, because you were asking where do we rank Daniel Jacobs, so I asked where do we rank Peter Quillen then? Because I remember Peter Quillen was the boogeyman of the division at some point.
Yeah.
Nah, Peter Quillen was overrated, Bucho.
I know.
No, but Danny
Triple
Jacobs
G
is very
ducked him.
good. He's
Yeah,
very good.
Gonzalo doesn't
He's
get
good enough to
sarcasm.
beat Sulecki and Deryachenko and the Luis Arias of the world. And I
With
think if he would,
athleticism.
yeah, and I think if he would fight him again, he would honestly beat him again in a close decision. He's just gonna do enough to get the victory. But with that being said, when he steps up and fights Canelo Álvarez and Triple G, his what he does good is not enough to beat those guys. You know, so yeah, he's the third best middleweight, but he's moving up to super middle now. So I mean, obviously the weight thing's always been to his advantage, and I don't know if it will serve him better now, which it probably should. But maybe he's not confident in his chin.
Can I say something real quick?
Well, I guess so.
Oh, all right. Fucking Magic Man in the chat says Brendan Schaub. He's garbage when it comes to boxing. But Brendan Schaub says recently he said that Canelo's on the same level as Leonard and Hagler. Do you guys agree?
Well, let me tell you something about
Leonard,
Brendan
yeah,
Schaub. Hold on, let me say something about
I
Brendan
think
Schaub.
Leonard-
First of all, he's not that knowledgeable when it comes to boxing. And I also suspect, and I'm not the only one, that he's suffering from CTE. So take his opinion about boxing with a grain of salt.
CTE?
From hits to the head.
He's a fag.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, whoa.
Sorry.
Yeah, what the fuck?
But seriously though, no. Honestly, let's be honest. I mean, Canelo. Look at his resume at 160. He got he was accomplice in a fucking robbery. He got I think a gift. At best, the second was a draw. He beat up a 168 pound no hoper, and he just went 12 distance with the back foot boogeyman, to quote that fucking dude ego. And
Yeah, but then again, he's only 28.
What I'm saying is, but it was at 168. But what I'm saying is, I like Canelo. I've always been a fan of Canelo. But if at some point he needs a fucking doesn't need to eke one out. You know what I mean? Like what I wanted to see, a stoppage in the ninth, like a stoppage of one of the elites, not a fight. Like I said,
has Canelo? Sorry, Jimmy, but like to your point, has Canelo beaten any top level guy in his prime? Has he? No. Not his entire career.
Really nobody out there.
That's not the point, Gonzalo. I'm not blaming him. I'm judging his resume for what it is. Objectively, has he beaten anyone in their prime that was top level? You could say, Austin Trout looked like the goods, but that win did not age very well, bro.
Lara?
They're gonna look at
no. Lara wasn't a top level guy. Molina beat his ass.
Well, hold on. How do we define? Hold on.
None of us.
Let me just say something.
None of us thought Lara was a great fighter. None of us on the show thought Lara was.
Okay, but you said hold on. Yeah, because you said prime level. So now we got to define what we mean by prime level, because you can't deny that Lara was one of the best, if not the best, number 1, 2, whatever, at junior middleweight. So that fight was extremely
top level guy. Prime top level guy.
Okay, well, was Jacobs prime level guy when he fought Golovkin?
I would say
no,
so.
I think Lara
we can dissect Jacobs' record and go like, well, who did he beat? Well, he almost got knocked by Sergio
But it's not
Mora.
about Golovkin. It's about Canelo right now.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
standard
it's a pretty harsh standard, I think, though.
No, I just think Lara was prime.
No, it's the Mayweather blueprint. It's not a harsh standard. It's the Mayweather blueprint. Like, he fights all guys when they get old that have a good name, like Cotto, Golovkin. He waits all these guys out and fights them when
sometimes it's timing too, right? Sometimes it's like you said, timing. It's how it's rolled out. You know what I mean? You can't control how that
barely wins. He barely wins. I'm not like, okay, fine, maybe this is just how it happened. No big deal. But like, let's look at it objectively. Has he fought a top level guy in his prime? Who? Nobody. Never.
Well, I must say,
I know
gotta
for a
give.
fact you said it's not his fault. It's not his fault, but who is there out there for him? Let's say tentatively in the future.
All right, but you just Gonzalo, you're just going on. Gonzalo, you're going on in circles.
Blame him.
Okay, but you're going on in circles because you're saying it's not his fault. That doesn't help the conversation. The point is,
No,
I would argue. But hold on. I would argue. Okay, hold on. All right, Gonzalo, you're very talkative today, man. Hold on a second.
He could have fought Triple G in his prime. He ducked Triple G, like outright ducked his ass.
You could argue he just beat Jacobs. That's a guy at the prime top level. I mean, this is Jacobs with a great resume.
Yeah, but now he was trained, so.
All right, but listen, then we can.
Well, he was.
He fought Jacobs. Everybody wanted this fight. It was the most logical fight. He's like, after Triple G, he was the best middleweight. I mean, I'm not complaining about this fight, man. And
it brings
I don't know
up
who else he should fight.
I'm not complaining about the fight either. But we're saying he's a pound for pound guy. Like, come on.
I think we're just doing some This is what makes the show interesting. The way these, just the breakdowns. I listen to other shows, especially when I'm driving around. I like this because we're taking, it's a good topic. We're discussing his. I think Precise made an excellent point.
It's a good point. But
you know what I mean? It's all a good point. And to go off that point too, we always look at this judge's decision. Bottom line is, we all know, including him, he didn't beat Triple G in that first fight. So let's take that out the side, right? And then it was the second one was a draw, but he got it. We'll give it to him. So 1-1, and he definitely avoided Triple G for 2 years until he thought in his mind he was slowing down. I'm not taking away. Listen, and again, Canelo is the best middleweight in the world right now.
Yeah,
all the accolades to him. But I just don't. He hasn't, for me, in my book, had a signature win that in 20 years I'll be watching it on YouTube. That's all.
Yeah.
Now, all things considered,
we rank.
Well, hold on a second. Sorry to interrupt. So, Bucho, please say what you want to say, and read also Official Scorecards Boxing, who just donated, please.
Where is it? Oh shit, so long, isn't it? Anybody saying Triple G's face is proof he lost against Canelo? Why don't you rather take by who stunned who a couple of times in that fight as proof? Yeah, Canelo was stunned in that 10th round, I believe. But I was just gonna say that Canelo beat Golovkin. If you think that Canelo beat Golovkin the second time, then Canelo is a pound for pound contender there, because we all had Golovkin in our pound for pound rankings, correct? So yeah, but then you can take that some credit away from Canelo by saying, well, Triple G was he in his prime? We're gonna have to say no. So then it goes back to like discrediting that win, though.
I mean, all things considered, like his record is still good, and he's trying to clean out his division. Like, take all the bullshit aside. Like, look at these other fights in other divisions, so-called pound for pound, like Wilder or Spence. They even touch other champions. So when they do, they get like gifts, or they just don't want to fight them.
Yeah, but you said
why are we forgetting that Canelo was juiced and had this is what I don't understand, and I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but you guys are completely ignoring the fact that Canelo loaded his gloves and he was juiced. Why should I be giving him credit? Why? Explain this to me, please, somebody.
So we're basically never gonna give, because I remember people saying that, oh, Canelo's gonna lose the second fight. He looks like he's not on the juice anymore, and then people were looking at the weigh and saying, oh, he looks more drained, or he looks different because he's not on PEDs. He's not probably lose this fight. Then the fight is close. I had it 7-5 for Canelo, and people are now saying, well, he was on PEDs and he was on this and that. So it's like
but we know he was on PEDs.
We don't know that. On the second fight,
he got caught.
The second fight.
Yeah, he got caught right before the second fight. You take PEDs months before you take the fight. So the benefit of the PEDs carries over for the next few months. Well, I don't know what he took exactly, but he was juicing.
If he took HGH, if he took human growth hormone, that you keep those gains, especially if you, and again, this is no small fucking thing. He flew to Germany. Everybody in the juice game and the fucking PED game knows the best, absolute world-class drugs come out of Germany. And dude, listen, and they do it all right. They take blood samples. They do a workup. They tell you, if this is what you want to gain, I want to gain speed, strength, and recovery, minimum mass. Okay, you take HGH. We're going to take fucking insulin on these days. And at the end, you'll do it with a diet. I mean, listen, they would have had it all tied off, where at the end, he would have been on clenbuterol, and then he would have kept his gains, though, with HGH. With steroids, you don't.
Hey,
by
Jimmy.
itself.
Hey, Jimmy,
Yes, sir.
I know you would know this more than me, but I told you I'm a baseball fan too. Alex Rodriguez, who got in trouble for steroids before this incident, right? The incident I'm about to tell you. So he had knee surgery. Guess where he went after knee surgery?
The fatherland. That's where they are. Well,
Okay, he went to he went to the same place. Who had knee surgery and went to Germany? Who also did the same thing?
and you say,
Canelo.
what was his? And he tried. He didn't like. Usually, someone like him, he lives through Instagram. He's a very social media savvy dude. And if I remember correctly, he was pretty quiet about that trip to Germany. It wasn't like he was sending out pictures, right?
Well, of course, because it was just like A-Rod.
I'm just saying. I know it's conspiracy theory shit, but
no, what you just said, Jimmy, I think is spot on. A-Rod kept that a secret. He actually lied about going to Germany, and they're like, no.
That's how much stink is on that country when it comes to that.
You fucking went to Germany, and then he had to come clean. Remember, A-Rod never failed a test the second time. Never failed the test. They got him on what they call that. It's evidence that suggests it was through the text messaging of him talking about steroids with that guy who I think was like a fucking agent paid by baseball probably to see who's But anyway,
hey, can I say something real quick? Just want to give a shout out to Steven. Shout out to Steven Schneider who donated with the super chat, and he says, "Sorry, but Canelo cheated, and I refuse to ever forget." And I was just gonna add to that. That's why I think that Reynosos and Canelo were so pissed going into the rematch, because tight shirt Abel Sanchez and Golovkin kept bringing that up, and it hit a little too close to home for Canelo and his ego, and that's why he was so pissed off. And that's why I don't think there's gonna be a third Golovkin fight, at least not until they make him wait maybe another year or so. That's my position.
I mean, the guy ran. Sorry.
There's a phone call.
I just wanted.
Right. So hold on a second. So what do we do? Okay. Yeah, I know there's a phone call. Do we take it now, or do we keep going with the?
Yeah, take it.
All right.
It's another one now. All right, take one. Fuck.
All right, we'll take one. Hopefully it's okay. It's not a southern Boston. 714. Go ahead. You're on the air.
All right, hey fellas, this is Quags.
Hey, what's up, Quags? Thanks for calling in, man. Calling in.
Quags.
Right,
what up, dude?
Craggy, what's up, kid?
Not much, guys. I just kind of want to relay what Jimmy said a little bit, and I want to put something else in perspective. How much was Canelo tested at 155?
That's a good point. That's a good question, rather. Yeah, man, because this guy was.
If you're keeping gains all that time, it helps you go up weight. Muscles easy to hydrate, and now you have a guy that's moving up and down 3 weight classes.
Yeah, and let's not forget also that some people are saying that they could see mosquito bites on his abdomen during during the last weigh. I don't know if it was Shepard or Sons that said. Go ahead.
You see, I hate this, man. I hate this topic in this sense. Look, I don't have a problem with Canelo taking. I think he should. I personally think he should take. No, I'm just let me get to my point. Like, I think he should. I think he should be allowed. He's a performer. Perform at your best. The problem that we're entering is who's allowed to take. If the A side is allowed to dictate testing, right? Maybe not him himself. It could be his promotion. And there are certain things you can't test for, right? Let's say there's certain ways to get away with doing what you're doing. Then that's what puts the asterisk on it. That's what puts look, I don't have a problem with it. I think there's a very good chance that all these guys are on something. They just have to be more careful because they're not the A side.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They're not the A side. So the A side gets an advantage. It may be a placebo advantage in terms of I know that I'm taking my stuff and that person more than likely is not because they're not allowed to. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's what throws the asterisk in there. I hate this talk, but more than likely they all do and they should. That's my opinion.
Man, Golovkin backed everybody up for a decade, including Canelo. Canelo fails a drug test, comes back to the rematch, and is backing Golovkin up. Come on, man, I'm not fucking stupid.
Now that's the thing, though.
But but didn't we say that Golovkin wasn't backed up by Canelo, though?
No,
it was Golovkin who wanted to be like fighting.
He was boxing. Yeah, he was boxing, but Canelo was coming forward, whereas in the first fight he was backing away from Golovkin. And then all of a sudden he's back in the rematch doing something that like no one's been able to do. Yeah, Golovkin was moving, but Canelo was also backing him up. He had him on the ropes a couple of times. Like,
yeah,
come on, man. Like,
Canelo's a strong guy.
that wasn't all confidence. Come on.
To be fair to Canelo, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this real quick. To be fair to Canelo, that was the right strategy because if you saw the first
that was
fight,
the right strategy.
If you saw the first fight, he had success when he fought when he stood his ground. He did. It's when he was backing up where he was getting beat up.
Now, in regards, Gonzalo wanted to say something, and then I want to say something.
Yeah.
And Gonzalo, go ahead, and then I'll go ahead, and then we're gonna
he would have got his face jabbed off because Golovkin's got a real powerful jab, and in mid range he would have rocked him again. So his best choice was like Big G said to little Mikey Garcia when he fought Spence. You got to go in there and get to his chest. That's why little Mikey Garcia was able to survive. So Canelo did a real smart thing by getting into his chest by taking away the mid range and the jab at the outside distance.
And he's faster.
And plus Canelo got a good chin. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say that regarding
I'll give you Canelo, but sorry, BDA.
Yeah, I just wanted to say regarding the Canelo backing Triple G up, it was a dangerous strategy, and you could tell why. Because I mean, the guy got marked up, he got stunned. He had to take that risk in that second fight, and I actually think he looked stronger physically in the first fight. Now, I think just in the first fight, he thought he was, hey, you know what? Let me box him, because Golovkin he had Canelo on the ropes, and then Canelo would make him miss, and sometimes he would just faint, and Triple G would take 2 steps back. So he was clearly respectful of Canelo's power, and when Canelo did open up, he was backing Golovkin, making Golovkin step back a little bit. So I'm not that surprised that in the second fight he was able to do it, because I mean, these two fuckers are strong, man. These are two. And I also want to say something real quick about the steroids. This is what pisses me off, because Reckon has made a good point about how most of these guys, it's a good bet to say that they're all on something. But now the problem becomes, if everybody's on steroids, but then you have the A side who's taking better steroids, that just creates another fucking problem, because there are some products that are better than others, I must assume. So that creates another goddamn fucking problem on top of the other huge, gorilla in the room we've got. Real quick, I want to get... What was that?
Oh, no, go ahead, BDA.
Well, I want to get back to Quacks. Quacks, is there anything else you want to say? Quacks?
Oh, he probably bounced.
No, he's still there. No, you're breaking up, man.
You guys hear me?
Barely. You're breaking up.
No, we're gonna take the next phone call then.
All right, Quacks. Thanks for calling in. You call back. All right, call back, man.
Call back again. Call back again.
Yeah, call back again.
In a few minutes.
In a few minutes. All right, we got another phone call. I think this one is. I think it's Rasclot. So. All right, 510. You're on the air.
You hear me?
No, boy. This is barely. We can barely hear you, man.
It's probably the.
You guys hear me?
Barely, man. I think the phone lines are fucked for today, Bucho.
Breaking up.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah, we're breaking up. I know you're breaking up too.
That guy from Deliverance is bugging our phones.
All right. Just
fucking Block Talk Radio, man.
An announcement to everybody that's calling in. The phone lines are fucked. I know you guys can't hear us on the phone, and we can't hear you properly. It's breaking up real bad. So I think that was Rasclot. Rasclot, for some reason, that the lines are fucked. We'll try again in a couple of minutes. But
yeah,
the discussion is pretty good here
right now. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say, BDA. Tell them to try again.
Right.
I know this sounds archaic, but if the callers have a home or a hotline, that almost always takes care of that. But it's a big ask. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if they're at their house anyways.
And by the way, Bucho, can I say something regarding? Can I say something regarding Nopal? Can I say something, Bucho, regarding Nopal, or you don't want to talk about
Nopal? Yeah, he's still there. I blocked that fucker, man. He doesn't get it. Well, go ahead.
Well, you explain it, because it happened between you and him.
Well, I told the guy he keeps, he wants sometimes to wait on the show, so he's like, send me a link, and then he starts calling on Hangouts like a private call. So we
he doesn't know what he's doing.
He knows what he's trying to get our attention by calling, but we hear the ringing thing, so it's distracting
during the show. Yeah.
So I told him, don't do it again. I'll block you. And then, a few days later, he does it again. So I said, "You're fucking blocked." And then he's like, "Chinga tu madre," and I'm like, "Pinche naco," and I just fucking blocked it. I mean, that's it. It's not because he had Canelo winning 9-3 in the first fight against Golovkin. No, that's not it. I blocked him because of the thing. He was keep calling. I told him not to do it.
In the first fight, he seriously had that fight scored 9-3.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come on. At some point, you just got to be subjective, and that's ridiculous.
Bro, that having Canelo winning that first fight now 9-3, like I say, that's fucking just atrocious, bro. It's wrong.
I think he was confused of who was. I think he was confused of who was the Mexican and who was the guy from Kazakhstan.
Well, you sit down. Was it a Toros? He made. I'm butchering the guy's name. He makes those good videos. Atorios. Yeah. He made a video, right? Was it him? And he broke round by round. If you just count the punches, and I think precisely. Did you do a video too that did all the counts, the punches, and there's no way you know what I mean? No matter how you decide that he won that fight. Never mind, you can't go backwards from the champ. It was just a bad look all around.
Jimmy, bro, leading up to that second fight, I watched that first fight about 5 times. And I was like, dog, there is no fucking, I'd give him the swing rounds and all kinds of shit. There is no way Canelo even fought to a draw in that first fight.
Listen, if Nopal really thinks that, just make a film study. Count the rounds, scoring rounds, and tell us which rounds Canelo won.
Great point.
You cannot. Great point. These people are brainwashed. There's no point. It's like trying to, make a religious guy understand.
But you know what irks me?
The punt.
Go ahead,
one second, BDA.
Go ahead.
The Punisher says Nopal is Adelaide Bird's son.
We got a phone call.
But hold on, let me just say something about Nopal real quick, because the thing that he never really, even if I completely disagree with his opinion regarding the first Canelo and even the second Golovkin fight, that's not what bothers me too much, because it's boxing and some people are gonna come out. I'm experienced after a lot of the cycles we've had on this show. I'm not too worried about it. But what irks me is when we tell you to stop actually calling on the Hangouts, when you're disrupting the show, and you tell us to go chinga tu madre, which for those who don't speak Spanish means go fuck your mother.
I think he's on the line. I think he's the one that's trying to call. Then he goes cangrejos, when people who hate their own or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, man.
Doesn't that go fuck your mother?
No, it's like the mentality. They're pulling each other down.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's him, by the way.
Tu madres, go fuck your mother.
I don't think that's him on the phone, though. But let me try the phone. I think I know what. I don't think that's him, but anyway, I think I know. Yes, 512. 510. You're on the.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me try something.
Man.
No, hold on. Let me try something.
Hold
on. All right, keep talking.
Am I still breaking up? Can you guys hear me right now? Canelo's a bomb. Can y'all hear that?
Yeah, we heard that. No, we heard you.
Can y'all hear me?
Shit, I barely hear you, man.
I can hear the rat chewing through his Ethernet cord.
Yeah, something. Bucho, I think we should keep the calls.
Testing out my volume. Canelo was a bum.
Yeah, is this Rasclot?
Okay.
Yeah,
it's Rasclot.
Yeah, can't see my question.
Hold on, guys. We gotta keep this. We gotta keep some sort of. Not barely, man.
Yeah.
All right, this is.
All right, guys, let him talk. Let him talk. Everybody, keep quiet.
All right, Rasclot. Just to warn you, the line sounds really bad. So just say what you're gonna say real quick, and we'll let you go. Right? Because we're having problems with the line today.
Okay. All right, let me just say what I gotta say. You got a Laura who wasn't that great. Austin Stroud who wasn't that great. You got old Shane Mosley. You got slow, mentally disabled Kermit Cintron. You got beat up, broken down Angulo. You got old Curtis. You got no Slim Khan. And you got a almost 40-year-old Triple G. And then you got a cancer survivor Jacobs. Canelo Álvarez got the most pick-on, 36 resume, and he's the biggest star right now. The guy is not even Latin. He's white. and but he's pretending to be Latin, and it's a shame on boxing.
Let me tell you something, Rasclot. You always, I don't always agree with what you say, but you can't disagree. You bring the heat
BDA.
when you speak.
Yeah,
go ahead,
he
apology.
brings the heat.
BDA, can I
Yes,
ask him a
one
question?
apology. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Roscoe, if you can hear me, what does Canelo have to do to impress you? Like, what does he have to change?
I can't hear you. Say it again.
What does Canelo have to do to impress you, to make him not a bum anymore?
Stop pretending he's Mexican.
And you guys, on my end, I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything of what you guys saying, unfortunately.
All right. So, all right.
All right. Well, thank you for calling.
Yeah. All right, Rasclot. We're gonna let you. We heard a little bit of what you had to say. It was fucking funny as hell.
Right.
All right. Thanks for calling in, Rasclot. We did hear what you had to say. It was funny as hell. But unfortunately, you can't hear what our panelists have to say. But all right, shout out. That was Rasclot. He should leave some fucking messages. And you know what, Bucho? I think I know what the problem is. Just for your information, I think I'm using a specific browser to take the calls, and I think that's what's fucking it up. Because this fucking Google Chrome is a piece of trash when it comes to those phone calls. I'm gonna use Firefox next time, and I'm gonna update the motherfucker. Anyway, yeah, but that was a good question from Apology. What does he have to do? Because I mean, I know Rascal was taking rhetorical benefits in there, to make it more entertaining. His call, but Apology brings up a good point. Like, what does he have to do? And I think at a certain point, you can nitpick a guy's resume. It can be done to anybody. You have to think.
I think he's good.
Yeah,
I disagree. I think he's good. Look, is he gonna be like when you compare him to like Manny Pacquiao? Let's just say, I'm just bringing him up. I would take Pacquiao over him. More convincing wins. Not always the A side. He had to be the B side to get. He had to beat the A side to become an A side. Like I respect that more. Look, when it comes to the A side, there's always going to be criticism towards them. There's always going to be that, whether it's the steroids, whether it's determining how many rounds the fight's going to go, and like Sugar Ray versus Hagler. There's always going to be like a little asterisk on that. So, and we all know that the boxing, the boxing media, the whole business wants the A side to win. They want them to win most of the time, right? And so there's always going to be criticism. But for me personally, Canelo's good. He's got a good resume. I don't always agree with the decisions he's gotten. I do believe there's asterisks when it comes to the kind of advantage he may have, and there's already two examples of that. There's what happened with him and Triple G, and what happened with him and Jacobs in terms of the rehydration clause. Like personally, I really don't care for stuff like that.
Let me ask you guys a question, and I might have to go. I'll find it in a second. My old lady's back, but because we're supposed to go somewhere. Not that she's gonna fucking pussy with me or something. No, yeah, but no, 20 years from now, right?
Right.
What Canelo fight would you guys throw on if there was still a YouTube or whatever fascist fucking streaming services out there? What fight I'm asking right now, would you 20 years from now would say, oh man, let's watch that Canelo fight? Which
right now, Triple G fight. The second Triple G fight.
Yeah.
Even though I thought he lost, that was a fucking great fight, man.
Yeah.
The first fight, right?
As well.
The second one, Jimmy, for me.
Okay, I was just wondering. All right.
And the core fight as well. He did, even though core was past his prime, Canelo did some good like skills. He was, he would feint and then he threw like an uppercut through the guard. He looked like his head movement looked good. So
who against Cotto?
Yeah, I know it wasn't a good win. But he did look good at times in that fight.
He did. But I mean, I was so disappointed in Cotto. Talk about someone who was so willing not to fucking engage. He didn't want, and for him to that simultaneous response by him and Freddie Roach, like it was so, the fact that they act like they were egregious, that it didn't get the win. It's like, you kidding me?
Well, you know
nothing.
What?
I think he hit Canelo once hard, pissed Canelo off, and that was the round that Canelo lit him up a little. And I don't think fucking Cotto planted his foot for the rest of the fight.
I think he
he's a
did
little
really
guy,
well,
though,
Jimmy.
you know?
In my case, I think he did. He boxed very well for his advanced stage in boxing terms. I think he
Well,
boxed
yeah,
very well.
Cotto's a talented kid, but he didn't try to make a fight of it. There's no
He
way.
couldn't have done
I
any
mean,
better to a younger man, bigger.
well, also he shouldn't have been fighting him. He's too big. Cotto shouldn't have been in that fight. Again, I don't want to make it seem like I was shitting on Cotto. He shouldn't have even been fighting more than 154. Actually, he should have been fighting at 147. He's just like 5'6", right? He's a little dude.
Yeah,
These
like
are fights he shouldn't
5'7".
have been in. And never mind at his age, like you said. For that reason, why would he want to look at the wars he's been in, right? Bloody wars that dude has been in. Do you really think that he was trying to put that effort in against Canelo? The same ones he put against Margarita and shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think he didn't get lose credibility. If I can say real fast, he didn't lose credibility as far as his legacy is concerned with that fight, because I think he did a good job for himself, you know. And later when he lost to Saddam Ali, I believe he tore his bicep. So you could kind of question why he lost that. No, but Cotto fought excellent in that fight. I believe he just didn't have enough to beat the younger man. I was just gonna say something real quick, BDA. I promise I'll shut up. You know what? The only clear victory that the decision that went in Canelo's favor was a draw against Golovkin. Yeah, obviously Triple G got robbed in that first fight, but I just have to say there's nothing wrong with losing to Triple G. There's nothing wrong. I mean, even if he lost to Triple G, if he would have got the loss instead of the draw, that would have been good. That would have been great for the sport. You know, that's what Triple G deserved. But even if that would have happened, there would have been nothing wrong with that. It wouldn't diminish in my eyes who Canelo is.
Yeah, I know. It's only people who look at records, you know, that get all up, you know, that focus on the zero. By the way, BDA, we have corruption on the line.
Yes, that's indeed. Hold on a second. That's what I was going to say, but can you...
Let me break it down for all you fucking retards. I'm very happy I placed a large bet as well, just to prove that word is bond. But so who's standing tall now, you little motherfuckers?
All right, corruption, are you there?
Yes.
Good to have you on board.
How are you, corruption?
Yeah, very good, gents. How you all doing? Shout out to everybody in the chat as well.
That's right. We're still talking about Golovkin, Canelo, Jacobs, and this past Saturday. Could you try to be as succinct as possible, because we already talked about it, but I am curious to get your opinion on last weekend's fight between Canelo and Daniel Jacobs. How did you see that fight? And also, did you bet on that fight? And how did that go for you?
Yeah, you know, BDA, I can't be too angry or too pissed off, because from a speculative angle, it was a very easy money to win fights, to actually win, you know, a little accumulator with Beterbiev to get a stoppage, and Jervin and Carhas and Virgil Ortiz Jr. as well. So it was quite a sort of a simple fourfold accumulator. So, and you know, they were paying reasonably good money because, you know, Mauricio Herrera hadn't been stopped before, so a lot of the sports books were unsure whether he'd get a stoppage. But and Beterbiev as well, given that, you know, Kalajic has only sort of lost one fight. So yeah, from that sense, it was a good night. But from an entertainment perspective, the truth is I became disinterested after 4 rounds, and sort of turned it over and put on Hustler Triple X TV instead, because. But I actually went back and watched the fight. I thought, look, let me, you know, at least try and sit down and watch the fight. And you know, the commentators, what they do for the last few years, they just endeavor to sort of infiltrate into our minds that Danny Jacobs is somehow one of the most athletic boxers. Now, his joints and his cartilages must be constructed from solid gold, because he's unable to change levels. He can't bend at the waist, and he certainly can't bend his knees. A very peculiar, sort of rigid, erratic fighter. Absolutely no game plan going into that fight. Erratic strategy. I thought it was I just thought it was a poor fight. Canelo Álvarez, you know, I don't know what the hype is behind this guy. I think he's vastly overrated. I don't even think he's the best Mexican fighter out there. I think Estrada is way more talented than Canelo.
So
he kept following Jacobs around. I didn't see any clinical precision boxing. I see a lot of both of the guys. Their accuracy was poor. Their power punches connect rates was down to like 20-25%. All right, Alvarez has good defense, so he can negate some of Jacobs' offense. No problem there. But Alvarez similarly was just loading up too much with his hooks, etc. I didn't really see any precision boxing, certainly at that range where he can be effective. He did enough to win the fight, but Jacobs didn't really want to engage for the first 7-8 rounds. So,
you bring up a good point about Canelo loading up. Because I remember the first time he fought a top level opponent was when he fought Trout, and he was loading up with that right hook, and he was constantly missing throughout the night. And it seems like he never learned, because he did it against Lara too, and now he did it against Jacobs. When is he gonna stop loading up on his right hook and say maybe redirect it to the body like he did against Khan? When is he gonna do that? So you're right. It's go ahead.
And the thing with Daniel Jacobs is that not only from the weigh-in was it visible that he was extremely weight drawn. He looked so badly dehydrated, but after the first, even rehydrating heavy, and it was predictable he was going to do that. And I actually give him credit for doing that, because fuck Alvarez, he's got no right to dictate to the boxing, exactly his own sort of autocratic rules. So I'm glad Jacobs, stuck a middle finger at him and told him, fuck your contract stipulation.
Oh.
You've got to take any advantage you can. If you're not technically breaking any rules, fine. Pay a small penalty. He was compensated sufficiently, so, but he still looked weight drawn. You could see after the first round he went back, and he was looking for the Gatorade, so he still looked drawn in the fight.
Actually, you bring up a good point about the Gatorade, because some people are saying that he shouldn't have had Gatorade. That's state dependent, right? Or how? Because I remember what's his name? Chris John had Gatorade or some sort of yellow drink when he fought Rocky Juarez, I believe, the second time. And didn't Mayweather too had Gatorade in certain fights? What's
and Adrian Broner as well?
And Adrian. So what's the rule on that?
You're allowed. You're allowed, BDA.
See, it's an old wise school. I mean, the old school boxing thought was any sugary substance will cramp you. That's the reason why they avoided it. But again, as before they even knew what electrolytes were, they just knew the human body was thirsty. But depends. Some guys will use a half. It'll be half and half, so it's not as sticky and heavy. Because, you know what I mean? Like any liquid that sits in a room, if it starts turning viscousy and thick, like Gatorade will after a couple of days, so it's kind of the same thing in the body. So, yeah, water just absorbs better. But they don't have the electrolytes that Gatorade. But again, it's a preference.
You're allowed as long as it's not Panama Lewis giving it to you. It's okay.
Oh, Gonzalo coming in with the jokes. All right, so corruption, real quick then. So did you? I mean, you don't have to tell us a number, but you walked away with a pretty good score then, I would assume, this Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a good weekend.
Well, there you go. Now, real quick, because we have a phone call. Hold on a second. Let me just take the phone call, see if it's working. All right, and then I want to bring up some of the fights. I want to bring up some of the fights that are going to be coming up this Saturday. All right, 8:05. You're on the line. 8:05. 8:05. You're on the line.
Hey, what's up? It's Mike. I just wanted to test it out.
Yeah, it's still breaking up, man. I mean, I can hear you, but it's like there's a stutter.
There's also, it's probably 5 seconds delay from your.
Oh fuck! 5 seconds. That's unacceptable. All right, Michael. Thanks for calling in, man. We'll take you call in the next episode because when we fix these issues, all right, man.
Today, Junior.
All right. Cool.
All right, that was Michael Stott. All right, listen. I want to talk a little bit about real quick. About Miguel Berchelt, Jesus, Miguel Berchelt versus Francisco Vargas. The first fight was pretty good. Berchelt then showed us in subsequent fights that he can box. And I know some of you already told me, I think, in past episodes that you don't want this fight. I mean, you're not that interested because you think Francisco Vargas is shot. That being said, hasn't Vargas looked pretty good or back to old form in his past fights?
Who did he fight in his last outing, BDA?
Mickey Roman, I believe. Was it?
No, because Berchelt just got done fighting Mickey Roman, Gonzalo.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
Berchelt.
Francisco Vargas Pozzolito, I believe, in a Pozzolito? Was it?
No, that was
Stephen
2 years
Stephen
ago.
Smith from the UK. That was after. That was his comeback.
Yeah.
Where Smith's ear got literally removed from his head.
Yes.
After
Yes,
Vargas
that's the one.
had hit him like a bull in the Matador.
Hey, check this out, bro. If it's anything like the first fight, I'm a happy man, bro.
There you go.
You know, BDA. The first fight, you know, the sort of widespread opinion was that Francisco Vargas was just getting, you know, destroyed throughout the fight. I vehemently disagreed. You know, he was able to hurt Berchelt, especially during the early rounds and one or two of the mid rounds to the body. But Berchelt actually changed his strategy, became more of a boxer. You know, took away Vargas. See, Vargas is a straight puncher. And when you start operating laterally and he was turning it to his left, he took away his straight punches and then he was able to target him with his left hand. So he made a very good adjustment during the fight after being hit to the body and being hurt. And his corner went back and literally told him, you know, start moving laterally to your left, get away from his straight right hand. And that's what he did. So good sort of strategy there. But Vargas, the problem with him, and he's a problem that Milan Melendo, a good Filipino boxer, has too much scar damage, especially that eye. And Berchelt is a heavy-handed enough fighter, and his face is going to get damaged very quickly. So it's probably going to be another Berchelt probably stoppage due to, you know, sustained facial damage, I guess.
Yeah, you're right, man. Vargas is looking like Freddy Krueger in there. Too much facial scar damage. Alright, what the fuck, man? Apology. No, you can't, man. Hold on a second. Mute your mic, please, or I'm gonna have to mute you because you. Alright, hold on a second. Alright, sorry, I had to mute you. Apology, because there's some overmodulation on your end from your mic. I don't understand what's going on. Apology. Sometimes your microphone sounds good, and other times it just sounds overmodulated.
Got something plugged in.
Or he's downloading porn. I think that's what happened. I think that's a specific problem that happens when you're downloading gay porn while streaming. I think that's exactly what happens. So I'm just gonna have to say that.
Big no-no.
It's a big no-no, yeah. Big bozo no-no. Like now, I want to go back to the Berchelt Francisco Vargas fight. That's a very good point that corruption made. And I'm still, guys, I want to get your opinion because it seems like you never want to talk too much about Berchelt, but I'm curious to hear what you think about Berchelt because I don't know what to make of the guy. Sometimes he can box, sometimes he looks dominant. Other times you can see his face, he looks lost in there and he doesn't know what the fuck to do. What do you think about Berchelt and what do you think his chances are against a Tank Davis or a Lomachenko? Or you tell me.
Well, obviously they're not confident. He's a good fighter, but they're not confident in him because Mexican fighters usually like to fight, you know. And why is he not fighting often and enough, you know, to be put into these good fights for a good payday? I don't understand. That's all.
Well, he's with Golden Boy Promotions, right? And actually, wait a minute. Is he with Golden Boy? Can anybody
Alex
confirm?
Beltran.
Yeah, he's with Fernando Beltran. He's with Zanfa. But
yeah, Fernando Beltran. Correction.
Okay, I thought he was with Golden Boy. No, but it's Francisco Vargas who's with Golden Boy, right? Or did he change promotional entities too?
I'm not sure about Francisco Vargas.
Anyway,
he's still Golden Boy.
All right, that's good. Okay, that's okay. So now we got that clear.
That's right. Yeah.
Because the point then is, Berchelt, like I said, he boxed Miura, but like some other people, like he can do everything, a little bit of everything. He can box a little bit from the outside. He's a very strong fighter on the inside, but it just seems he's a bit too much of a caveman. He loops his shots. Like I said, he lifts his chin up in the air when he's throwing his power punches. What's his name? Miguel Roman in the last fight was catching him with some overhand rights. I don't know what to make of Berchelt, man. I wouldn't even be surprised if maybe this fight he gets caught up or something again against Vargas. But what do you guys think? What's the ceiling for a guy like Berchelt?
Berchelt's a fresh fighter, but he just hasn't been fighting often enough. I mean, to me, it's like, what's the last time he fought? What, about
The
a year ago? 9 months ago?
No, Berchelt, the last time he fought was on November. Oh yeah, what the this past November.
For me, I mean, after that war with Vargas, and then he put a couple of snooze fests together. I was like, really? I mean, I don't know. If you gotta catch my attention at that weight class, you better bring it. Why is he try? Is he in the same class as I might be off by a class, but is he 130, 135?
130.
130. Okay.
Yeah.
So why doesn't he fucking call out? How come he isn't trying to fucking get at it with Davis?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's
That's
almost.
the fight. I'm sorry, BDA. Go.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you go, brother.
Well, I was just gonna say he has 2 good wins over Vargas and Miura, but then again, the Miura win was. When was the Miura win? That was 2 years ago, or
Takashi Miura had effectively retired. You know, he was beaten by Uchiyama, stopped years ago, so he was at the end of his career. You know, Vargas had already stopped him. So Jimmy and that is absolutely right. He's had 6-7 defenses now. He hasn't really stepped up. He could have fought that Puerto Rican kid who just lost against Cancio. You know, people were begging for that fight. You know, a Puerto Rican Mexico. You know, Orthodox versus Southpaw rivalry at 130. Unification would have been a beautiful fight, but I don't know what the fuck he's doing. You know, whether he just doesn't want a unification or his promoters just can't make it happen, or
Davis called him out too on Twitter for a while. He was he pretty much gave up on it, but he was saying, "Hey, let's do it," and then it was just silence from Berchelt. And again, Vargas, Warriors code, kid's a fucking atypical Mexican. Just he'd rather die in the ring than fucking any other way, right? So, but come on, he's past his prime. That kid Mara was way past his prime. Like my UK boy just said, it's just no fucking way. He's done nothing. I have no, bro, it's just the 6th. Yeah, forget it. I'm just not pumped on him anymore.
That's what I get.
Berchelt is a good fighter, and he's a big 130 pounder with good ring generalship. But there's something fishy. I think you brought it up before in the past, BDA, that there's something fishy about him. Why is he not fighting these big fights? I can't figure it out myself.
What's Berchelt's nickname, Gonzalo?
Scorpion, El Alacran.
Yeah, it's a badass nickname, dude.
Yo.
Apology, we can't hear you because there's a big ass noise coming from your microphone. Over modulation, man.
Sounds like you got your fucking head in a hornet's nest.
You know what? Just log off the hangout and log back. Anyway, we're gonna end it in about a couple of minutes.
And now it's fine. Now it's fine.
Yeah, I took it out completely.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, that's what I told you. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Apology.
Yeah, why did the fight take so long to make?
Which fight? This rematch, you mean, or?
Yeah.
I don't know. It shouldn't even be taking place because Vargas hasn't really beaten anybody of not. Yeah, go ahead, Corruption.
It didn't take long to make. You know, Berchelt was due to fight somebody else. The fight was, you know, Vargas always wanted the rematch, but Berchelt's he was saying that I beat you convincingly during the first fight. So why a rematch? So it was more Vargas pursuing it, but it's on a different network as well now, on ESPN as opposed to
HBO,
BBC,
sorry,
or HBO.
HBO was the first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's interesting then, because the gist I'm getting here from you guys is that Berchelt, there's not that much interest in him, even after I've tried to get you guys to talk about it. There's just no interest in the guy because, first of all, in an age where everybody calls each other out, even if they don't intend to fight each other, this guy's calling out no one, from what I hear. You know, it's like he's got a dull personality too, from what it seems. I mean, and you know, you could say dull, you could say humble, but the point is he's not you know, he's not getting into fights in front of the 7-Eleven. He's not calling people the F word or whatever. He's not being controversial. He can be entertaining when he wants. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm just rambling.
Mr. BDA, but I have to say one thing real fast. I am interested in the guy, but I just want to see him fight. To see what he's about right now. I do want it because he's a good fighter, but I am interested, but I just have to gauge his performance off of something recently.
to
Right.
see where he's at because he hasn't stepped up, and that's what he should have done by now.
You know what, Gonzalez? See, I'm the same way. I think Burchelt can hang with some of them dudes. Who else has got belts at 130? Tank, Farmer, and who's the other one?
Cancio.
Cancio.
Yeah. I mean,
Sorry,
I think he can hang with some of them guys. He just got to get in
Agreed.
the ring with them. Win, lose, or draw. I think he'll give them good fights. But
yeah,
he's very heavy.
Navarrete. What weight is Navarrete?
Oh, that's 122.
He's
That's
a bantamweight.
22, Gonzalo.
Okay, sorry.
That's a very intriguing fight as well at the weekend.
Yes,
that
that's true.
rematch.
You know what? Fuck Burchelt. Let's talk about that before
That's
we
a
go.
real-
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
Burchelt. Let's talk about that one before we go. Isaac Dugboe is in a rematch against Navarrete, who I think that was one of the upsets of the year, if not the upset of the year. Maybe I'm mistaken. But again, Dugboe is another guy, kind of like Burchelt. 2 good wins. We all thought he was going to do big things. I actually thought he was going to. And all of a sudden, he looked like crap against Navarrete. Guys, what can we expect from this fight? And was Dugboe overhyped, or maybe Navarrete is better than we expected?
This is what I think, BDA. I think I'll just get. I know other people wanted to speak, but I think. I mean, Dog Bay got beat to a fucking pulp in that first fight. Yeah, Shepherd of Sons, Neho, but yeah, but Dog Bay got beat to a fucking pulp in that first fight. I think he'll come in there and bang it out with them again, but I just don't see him beating him. Navarrete's too big, man.
Yeah,
well, he says he's trained and he's gonna do better because he's taking it seriously now. But the thing is, he can't grow 2-3 inches. He's just a small guy,
Yeah, he's short. I wouldn't say he's Neho. I wouldn't say he's too small for Navarrete, but because he's a strong guy, but he's just very short. He's what, 5'2", 5'1"? He has a midget.
Yeah.
He has the head of a midget too. He has the head of a midget. Reminds me of those midgets that I put on a stove
I
once.
shit
And
that
I watched
guy
him.
out with my more. Oh, sorry.
Was that?
BDA.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead, BDA. Go ahead.
I told him to go ahead. No, nobody tells me to go ahead. I tell people to go ahead.
You broke up for a second. I just was gonna say I took a shit with my coffee this morning, as big as Dog Bay.
All right, now wait a minute. That type of humor, man.
That's
Dirty
racist.
humor. It's a family. That's
That's
a family
racist.
show. Yeah, and it's racist. So 2 strikes against you right there. You might just be on your way out, Johnny boy. You just don't know it
Racist?
yet.
What?
That's right.
What?
You comparing poo to a black man.
I said it was the same fucking size. I wasn't saying nothing about the color.
All right,
It was
don't make it
5'2"
worse.
inch
Don't
turd.
make it worse. You're digging a hole. All right, so but you know what?
You know, come on, BDA.
Yes, go ahead, please.
There is, I mean, from a gambling perspective, there is a chance of making money on Dog Bay because Navarrete is obviously a favorite in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But Dog Bowie is obviously been backed by top rank ESPN, so they see upside in him. So there is a potential that, but the fight is the way I look at the fight. I've had an equation in my head that thinking a stylistic nightmare plus poor fundamentals, and Dogbay's poor fundamentals is that he's got no defense and he lunges in with his punches, which is where Navarrete was able to open up with that uppercut and do damage from a guy who has a physical advantage. So against what Dogbay is doing now, he says that he underestimated his opponent in the first fight. So on the other side of the equation, I've got underestimate his opponent plus poor conditioning was his argument. But I'm thinking, all right, if he remediates his problems, just say he was poorly conditioned. Now I know I've spoken with Dogbay, I've spoken with his father Paul, and I know his publicist Melissa as well. So I've got a little bit of insight into his training camp in the past, but not for this one. Now, his problem for me wasn't poor conditioning. He definitely underestimated his opponent. I've got no doubts about that. But poor conditioning wasn't the problem. I think the problem more was a stylistic nightmare plus poor fundamentals, and those two factors in combination was what caused him all of the difficulties. He's just too short, and Navarrete was just able to create distance every time Dogbay tried to get inside by keep moving to expand that distance so he can just take advantage of his height and reach. But when Dogboe would come inside, he would lunge, and Navarrete was cute enough, just to, with that short left hand and his uppercuts, just to cause a lot of the damage. So I'm thinking this fight, I wouldn't have run it back straight away, because I think Dogboe really needed to move camps, because his father, Paul, has not taught him the fundamentals of defense at all. They blow smoke up his ass too much, and that's the problem, BDA. They think he's too much of an offensive juggernaut. They think it's just relying on his power punching and his body punching. But if you're not going to be able to cut the distance to get inside quick enough, making those errors coming inside, then you ain't got a chance. You're just going to get picked off, and that's my worry for this fight.
Yeah, it led with his face the whole night.
Yeah.
He was leading with his face. I mean, just thinking he was going to clip him, like you said. But I think, plus, I would imagine Top Rank must have signed him for a multi-fight deal. So even when he looked that terrible in that fight, I remember Bob was probably like, "Oh God, how many more fights we got this kid under contract?" Because if he loses,
corruption in boxing. Go ahead, Jimmy. Finish. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say, if he loses bad again and looks really bad doing it, I wouldn't doubt if you don't see him again. Like, because I don't know how many fights he had signed. It's usually a 2 or 3 fight, contract.
Right. But it's interesting because
corruption in boxing. Yes, Jimmy. This is the problem that I have with that fight. I believe that the Dogboe that I watched that day, he was a well-conditioned guy, and that's what made it particularly dangerous, because he was tough enough to make it through I believe it went to 12 rounds, right? He was tough enough to make it in there, where he sustained more of a beating if he would have just got sparked out. So that's the problem. He was very confident and headstrong and was able to go the 12 rounds, but he took a beating. And as far as the lunging in, I don't think he had many of an option, because he's just way too short for the bigger guy in Navarrete, which was probably like a lightweight in that fight. So I think it's just all wrong, for like you said, I agree with you, wrong in styles.
I'm on the same page as corruption. I think it was just a terrible stylistic matchup for him, because I mean, Dogboe fought Jesse Magdaleno, and that was a hell of a fight, man. That was a very good fight.
It's because Magdaleno was his size.
What's that?
Magdaleno was around his size, and Navarrete was just too long for him.
It's too long, and so I'm with corruption on that one. I think it's just a shitty stylistic matchup for him.
If you watch one of Navarrete's earlier fights, he fought a Filipino guy, John Jimenez, and that fight could have been, I think it was in Mexico. In that fight, he fights. He's actually a very underrated fighter. He can fight different styles. Some fights I've seen him where he commands actually the middle of the ring. Other fights, you just see him actually literally bouncing around his opponent laterally all the time, just forcing them to turn, and then he'll fight in explosive sort of bursts up against the ropes, good combinations. Very, very underrated boxer. I think Luis Neri got the better of him a number of years ago, but Neri is obviously a very heavy-handed fighter, bigger fighter as well. But the one element where I give a little bit of positivity to Dogboe was that in the first fight, there was 2 instances where he actually did hurt Navarrete to the body. So I'm thinking, all right, he took a sustained beating. Now, how many fighters come back from a sustained beating during a rematch? Now, Kovalev was the aberration. He did it. But he transitioned into a different style under a different coach.
Yeah.
Now, corruption.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kovalev didn't take the beating. Dogboe did, I think. He just got knocked out. Dogboe took a beating, man. I think he's done.
But this is the thing. When you're young enough, you think that maybe you can take a beating. Some fighters, Saddam Ali, we saw at the weekend, he never recovered from the Jaime Munguia beating because he took an ass whooping against a guy who doesn't have any power, and you can see what a beating can potentially do in a fight. But with
I think a good example is Medrick Taylor. He was 24 when he fought Julio Cesar Chavez the first time.
But you know what?
That kind of beating.
It's interesting though. It's
maybe
interesting
not
though.
as hard of a puncher as a
Chavez.
as Chavez. But
It's interesting though that this fight, like you guys are saying, I think it's a bad stylistic matchup for Doug Bowie. Now, I want to get to the point that corruption. You said you had some inside information, like or you've been in contact with Doug Bowie's team.
No. I mentioned not for this fight, but for the first fight, I was in discussion.
Yeah, that's what I'm
with
saying.
them, and
yeah, so you've been in
he
contact
was
with
still.
them.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that you mentioned that from your perception is that his team blows smoke up his ass. They don't seem to tell him the truth. Now, we've seen that in the past from that father trainer fighter dynamic. When a fighter is being trained by his father, it can either be a good thing, like Tito Trinidad with his father, a lot of discipline there, or it can go sideways when things start getting rough. Now, my thing with Doug Bowie is he was able to outslog Cesar Juarez. Let's not forget, this guy's a good fighter. Might not be the most technical fighter, but he's got balls and he's got power. And Doug Bowie beat him at his own game. And then, like Johnny, he said about how he pushed forward against Magdaleno and really beat him down. It was like a Margarito Cotto type fight. Then all of a sudden he runs into the guy. So are we going to be saying then it's a mix of things, like you said, like he's not improving all that much, bad game plan and bad stylistic matchup. So to round that all up, we need to make it official now. Let's take some predictions. Who picks who? Let's start with... Well, actually, corruption. Sorry, you want to add something to what I was going to say, to what I said, or?
But with the Magdaleno fight, BDA, what Magdaleno's problem was that he remained on the ropes for prolonged periods. So he almost allowed Dogbear to come onto him. So he's cut that distance so he can just tee off on his body. Navarrete didn't allow him to do that. He kept moving, creating that distance. So that determined the outcome of those fights.
There you go. That's a very good point. And I do believe that the time for good points is over. We need to make some predictions. King Bucho, prediction time. At least just for that fight. Isaac the Boy versus Navarrete. All right, let's go to... Was that? You broke
Dog
up.
Boy decision. Like Dog Boy decision because Dog Boy decision.
Uh-huh.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Dog Boy decision, top rank is gonna be involved like corruption said. Yeah.
Oh. All right, let's go to Johnny
That's
Boy.
not a bad shout, Butcher.
Yeah, that seems like a sensible choice. Johnny Boy.
Somebody's cutting off here.
I think it's me, man. Johnny Boy, can you hear me?
Sir.
Johnny, all right, you can hear me. Prediction time.
Yeah, I can hear you. Dog by Navarrete or Bercheltenham?
Dog Boy Navarrete.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, you want me to get back to you?
Navarrete on points again.
Navarrete on points again. All right.
I said Navarrete.
Yeah, I heard you. I think there's a delay. Anyway, Jimmy, prediction time. Navarrete or Dog Boy?
All right. I'm gonna fuck it. Did he change trainers or did he just stay with his dad? Does anybody know?
He's still with his father, but the only difference is he brought in a nutritionist. That's it.
Jeez. Because I'm 100% in agreement. I think in a lot of cases, the father can only take you so far. But Dog Bay is a tough kid. He will come forward. Fuck it, I'm going to go for Dog Bay's going to catch him with a shot. Stop him in the 7th. I don't have any money on it, so I could be fucking rambunctious. Yeah, I'm going to say Dog Bay stops him in the 7th, catches him with a shot. Now the other kid's going to tune him. Him a 12-round fucking lesson.
Yo. Canelo said Dog Bay by affirmative action.
All right, come on. Come on. Gonzalo, prediction time, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm against this fight, really. I just have to say, because the kid's too tough for his own good, especially these African guys. They're super tough, and he's short against the bigger guy that tasted glory, and Navarrete, and he's just going to put a beating on him. I think he's going to stop him in the 10th round, but I'm against this fight.
All right, another stoppage win right there. Well, I think it's only the first. Yeah, anyway. All right, so that's a stoppage for Navarrete. Gonzalo says, corruption, prediction.
I think Dog Bay will be better in this fight. I think his conditioning will allow him probably to get to points, but he's going he's going to be outboxed. I think Navarrete is just too smart of a fighter. He'll do exactly the same, keep the distance, outbox him, beat him up probably on the inside. Good two-handed fighter. I like him a lot. I think he wins unanimous decision.
Can I say something real quick? I don't mean to interrupt all the time, but how stronger can his ability be and his confidence? Because with that Nejo, it was through the roof the first time, and I thought he did very good. I don't think he could do any better.
You got to get apologies to him.
Yeah, we're gonna
Anyways,
get
that's
there.
it. What I was mentioning that.
All right, we got precise next. Precise prediction time.
Oh boy. Look, any man that fights below Lomachenko's weight class is not a real man to me. Okay, so
what?
I have no interest. I have no interest in these little guys. Look, no, seriously though.
Go on, Precise.
I'm with Gonzalo. I don't think this fight should be happening. Not right now, anyway. I can't imagine Dogbo's not going to be affected by that beating he took. But I also think Navarrete is going to be affected because he also took a beating. I don't know if you guys remember. That was a tough fight for him too. So UD probably for the Mexican kid.
UD for the Mexican. At least you didn't say sneaky Mexican kid like some other people have said.
He is Mexican, isn't he?
No, but at least you didn't say sneaky because that would have added another dimension there. All right,
no, that's Canelo.
He's the sneaky Mexican. All right. Apology. Prediction time.
Now, I think Navarrete by decision.
All right, Navarrete. I think it's Navarrete, but all right. So Navarrete by decision. So everybody's picking Navarrete. That's good to hear. So we'll be keeping an eye on.
Boy. I said dog boy. Whatever.
Oh yeah, you said dog boy. Butch is always trying to be that.
I think Jimmy as well.
The contrarian. Oh yeah, and Jimmy too. Fuck. You know what? I am already forgetting I should have written this down. Anyway, listen, guys, we gotta go. Thanks for joining us. Shout out to everybody, and also don't forget if you haven't had enough of the Triple G Canelo Jacobs trifecta, don't forget to check out Precise's channel where he does the film analysis. He has a separate channel now for that. It's called Fight Film, right? It's Fight Film, right? Precise.
Yes, sorry, I was picking my nose.
I'm sorry, BDA. You checked out when you said the name of this channel. Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, I think it's Fight Film. So because people are always
Fight Film.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the description.
Okay, thank you.
Because people are always surprised that he still has a boxing channel. Yeah, he still has a boxing channel. He just chopped the two channels now. One about the veganism and anti-veganism, and the other one about, well, it's not anti-veganism, it's just proper nutrition. And the other one is about boxing. So check that out. He did a video on Canelo Jacobs. So you can check out his views on that fight. It's a film analysis, if I'm correct. So check that
BDA?
out. Yes.
Hey, BDA.
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, you were cutting off, bro. I was gonna. Did Precise used to have an old channel like a few years back?
Yeah,
he had several channels.
Yeah, fuck, I remember that ever before, even way before I even met you guys, man. That's funny.
Yeah.
Hey, now, did you say he made a video about vegans?
Well,
come on, man. You don't want to fuck with that.
Listen. The only reason why I asked, I don't know anything about that vegan world. I just stumbled across this thing on YouTube. Them vegans are nasty, man. They attack motherfuckers. I was watching this guy who's, this bodybuilder who said, made a video. He's a popular, and these Australian vegans went berserk and but doxing him, going to where his daughter went to school. I just never seen it. Then I read up online, and I guess they're known for that. They're pretty
retards, man. They're bad people.
You're
right.
So all right, that's what that's the impression I got to it. I got wow, these people are taking this way too far. But like most things, people tend to be that.
It deals with morality, and when you're dealing with morality, and I have that's when they go fucking nuts, man.
Excellent point.
Have you seen the new Peter vegan advert about how eating vegetables makes you stronger in bed? Apparently,
Nonsense. You know, the vegan ideology can be summed up like this: eating eggs is murder, but abortion is enlightenment. So.
That's a great way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it, especially nowadays.
What about
What about
the
eating
BDA.
British babies?
Hold on a second. Yes, corruption. Go ahead.
Who's everybody got for the Jared Hurd and Julian Williams fight? I think that's actually a good fight.
Oh shit. We didn't even talk about that one. Fuck.
Heard.
Yeah, I'll take Hurd.
I think Julian Williams is a live wire in this fight. A live dog.
Yeah, but can he
I think
stand
he's
up
a
to
very skillful fighter. Sorry, BDA,
Yeah.
but Chinny, he's a little fragile. That's the problem.
Yeah, even that Jamaican guy he fought in the last, I don't know if it was his last fight. No, before the Ishii Smith fight, I believe. He fought some guy with Jamaican trunks. I already forgot his name. Who's a good fighter, but he was piecing and outmuscling Julian Williams in the last round, I believe. So Jared Hurd is just a fucking light heavyweight, man. I don't see Julian, like Precise said, he's skilled. I think he was actually dealing very well against Charlo until the power caught up to him. But same thing against Hurd, man. I mean, I think just Hurd's gonna walk him down and wear him down. He's gonna get hit like he always does, Jared Hurd. But anyway, listen, maybe we'll talk more about this fight if we do another episode. If Butcher's probably gonna do a podcast.
I'll do another show on Friday, probably.
Yes, fantastic. So we'll talk more about that fight because we didn't even get a chance to talk about that one here. So don't forget to check out Johnny Boy's channel too. He's got a boxing channel. Forgot to mention his. So check that out. Thanks a lot.
What's the name?
I believe it's Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy's
okay.
house.
Johnny Boy.
No, I think it's
the link
Johnny.
in the description.
Yeah, the link's gonna be in the description.
Excellent.
All right, fantastic. Now,
Anyway, thanks for the shout out, guys. Good show, and take it easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody be safe.
Yeah.
Peace, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Peace.
Oh, absolutely.
Peace for the
Always.
chat.
Always. Shout out to Corruption. He has a channel too. Can't forget him. I don't know if he's still making videos, but he should because he should make a video making his predictions every. Corruption, are you still there?
Yeah.
Do you still have a?
Oh.
Corruption, do you still have a channel?
Are you still making videos? Are you still making videos?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been very, very busy. You know, I mean, when you're sort of living and working through 3 different jurisdictions, it's very tough. But I need to get more active. You know, a lot of people have been requesting that I do videos on this, and this. But I need to invest in some equipment so I can start, you know, constructing some proper videos and do some thematic, topics and do some proper, breakdowns and fight analysis. So I'm gonna try and dedicate a bit of time to start doing that.
Fantastic. Now, I also want to say that you don't necessarily need. I mean, from an audio perspective, you sound pretty good. So I think you could already go ahead and continue with that. Also, so I want to give a shout out to everybody that was here. Corruption. I want to give a shout out to Apology Man. I want to give a shout out to Johnny Boy, Recognize, Jimmy, Gonzalo, Precise. Am I missing somebody? I already said Corruption. All right. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. So thanks a lot for everybody for joining us on that front here on the Hangout. I also want to give a shout out.
I was about to say, check us out on iTunes and give us, if you can, a good rating. If you like the show, that's really going to help us out. So
yes,
just give us a good rating on iTunes.
Yeah, that's right. Go to iTunes, give us a good rating, thumbs up. I don't know what the hell they do over there. On Spreaker too, you can download the episodes there. I also want to give a shout out to Pete, Official Scorecard Boxing, and Stephen Schneider for their contributions. Sorry about the telephone lines. We had some problems there. We couldn't take the phone calls we wanted, but we'll get back to you guys early. Before Saturday, hopefully, or worst case scenario, maybe on Saturday to a show. We are definitely going to do another show in between. So shout out to everybody. Also, want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. You guys know who you are. Turlock, Jason Bourne, Amok, Punisher, Quacks, Bay Area, California, Hucker Mustang, Triple JJ, Fight Scout, Precise was in there too, Steven Schneider, the Punisher, Rascloud was in there too, Official Scorecard Boxing, Box 88. You guys know who you are. You know who you are. Don't fuck with me on this one. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. We'll see you on the next one, and take it easy.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
You're on your son.
Disappointing everyone. Disappointing everyone.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointing everyone.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it, asshole?
Don't be afraid. It's just an asshole.
What are you going to do about it, asshole? What are you going to do about it, asshole? Asshole.